What's good, everybody? It's your boy VJ Vernon Husky, man. The Big Vanilla Funny, the Big Vanilla Madden, man. Y'all know how I do, man. Welcome to VJ's on Sports with Icona. Great show for you guys lined up today. My fault with the opening right there. Normally, I have to open it together. I'll bring some music in, but IG got mad at me about that. They actually banned me from doing live feeds for like 30 days or something like that. I guess I was going over the 30-second music allotment when you're using other people's music, man. But I'm your host, VJ Vernon Husky, the Big Vanilla Funny, the Big Vanilla Shaq, the Creamy Kobe, the Blue-Eyed Barkley, VJ's Top Talk Boy, Mr. Never Shut Up, the Big Vanilla Color Card, because you know in sports sometimes, just like everywhere else in life, sometimes you got to play that color card, and when you do, I'm your big Vegas Vanilla dealer too, man. Also, too, VJ's on Sports Like Conduct live right now on iHeartRadio, Spreaker.com, YouTube, LinkedIn, and on Twitter. Brought to you by Husky Bets. Husky Bets, where their bets are better than the rest of the bets. And if you're a man and a woman that ever loses a bet, always bet it back. Make sure you check those guys out over there too, man. That's actually my other company that I'm working on right now, the big sports betting thing. Later in the show, we will go with some spreads and some picks, some money line stuff like that. Dope show for you guys lined up today, man. I will have former Miami Dolphin left tackle, 7-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, Mr. Richmond Webb will be tuning in and jumping in on the show with us today, man. And a quick second here, we'll talk everything NFL free agency. We're going to go everything that's going on in the season. Plus, when I bring my guy on, we're definitely going to get into the Miami Dolphins. And he is a Pro Bowl offensive lineman. So if anybody knows how bad the Dolphins offensive line was last year, it's going to be this gentleman. If anybody knows how much better this line can be this year and moving forward with the pieces that they brought in and some of the players that they already have there. Shout out to Jesse David. He's gone. He signed with the Minnesota Vikings. Not going to badmouth him. Just didn't work out for us. And honestly, he was the guy that got Tua smashed, blindsided, and killed and knocked out for 3 to 4 weeks last year against the Buffalo Bills. So it just is what it is. As a fan, as a journalist, as a sports talk guy, I got to look at it from that angle, man. But I won't waste any time. We'll also talk about some of the other moves that teams have made. The owners and, the meetings are going on in Palm Beach, Florida right now. AFC was yesterday, NFC's today. New overtime rule, which I like. I'm not worried about it during the regular season. To me, it does mean a little more in the postseason that both teams get a shot at having the ball in the second in the overtime. If you don't score, you get a shot. But if you score, you now got to go score. I'm not mad at that. I actually wish they'd have put in a part of the rule that if you score, you got to go for 2. I love that. I like that idea. The idea came out about a week and a half ago. I thought that was a great idea. I would have loved to see that. Yeah, you're right. We'll give you guys both a shot, but you got to go for 2. No kicking extra points. You got to go for 2. To me, that's like, man. So if you score and you missed it 2, and then the other team gets the ball and they go down and score, that 2-point conversion, we're all sitting on our edge and see like, okay, oh God, they missed it 2. Then from that point forward, next team score wins. I like that. They're not going to go that route. Both teams are going to get an opportunity only in the postseason, and I do like that route, man. But with no further ado, first guest I'll bring on, man, is I don't know if I call him a good friend. I don't like fronting the line on air. I don't know. We are tied together through the Dolphin community. I will say that. He is a former player. I've been a fan all my life. I remember when he was drafted. He protected my favorite quarterback. You guys see my sign on the wall right here, man. Marino top 5 QB. Yes. All time. Yes. I understand some rings and stuff matter. Football's different than baseball, basketball, some of these other sports. But if you're telling me that there was more than 5 guys or more than 4 guys that spun that thing like Dan Marino did and throw that thing like Marino did, you fronting and you're not keeping it above. But he protected my favorite quarterback of all time. He's a 7-time Pro Bowler. He's a 2-time All-Pro guy. The guy only had 14 holding calls in his entire career. Talk about a model of consistency. 7 of his first 8 years in the league coming out of Texas A&M. He not only played in 16 games, he started in 16 games. And I do remember the guy never being hurt or never being out of it. Even late in his career, he had a season where he went 16-16, man. But my good friend, my man, former Miami Dolphin, Mr. Richmond Webb, to Unsportsmanlike conduct. What's going on, player?
VJ, what's going on, pimping?
You tell me, man. You the man. If I had your hands, I cut mine off.
Don't do that, bro. Don't do that. I see you done changed up the studio and all. I like it though, bro. It's hot.
Thank you.
I like it. I'm feeling it.
I appreciate that. I'll be honest with you. I channeled my inner arts and crafts when I was a kid. I made good grades or whatever, but projects I always got A's on. If I had to you gave me 3 weeks to put together a project, a model, science fair, any of that stuff, I always catch it. So I actually made all of this myself. I cut it, I measured, I cut and clipped and glued and taped. Like I made the studio myself, man. So I appreciate you shouting it out and giving me notice like that, buddy.
Good. How the fam? How the boss man? How my little boss man doing?
Man, listen, I was about to ask about yours. Everything here is great, man. My son, my new daughter, everybody chilling, man.
Wait, new? How new? How new?
Oh, my daughter is 5 months. Is 5 months old, man. Yeah.
Congratulations. Okay.
Yeah, I'm still. I still work.
Well, you've been working. I know you've been working, but I hear you. You work, but you've been working too, bro. I hear you.
For real. Ask all my damn kids. They know daddy still works. But no, everything is great. And how about yourself, man? It's been a minute since I had yours, since I spoke to you earlier. How's the family? How's traveling? How's all the gigs? I know you're a busy man getting scheduled on a lot of shows. Talk to me, man.
Yeah. Everything's good, man. The block is hot now, man. Free agency jumped off, which we're gonna kind of get into, but man, Miami is just, so I get a lot of requests and stuff like that. But from what they've done so far, I've been happy and seem like, they're being real aggressive, which I really like that as well. So, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. And let's jump right into it. If you don't mind me, I created a little bottom line there for you so people know who we're talking to and what we got on the show right there. So I had to make sure I got you right there. Also, forgot to mention, ladies and gentlemen, he is a member of the 90s Hall of Fame, all 90s team. This man, along with Zach Thomas, y'all stop screwing around, okay? Stop screwing around. I don't know who votes for this stuff, but this man should be in the Hall, along probably with Keith Sims also, who protected Marino on the other side, all right? And then Zach Thomas. Stop playing around, guys. But anyway, he's part of the 90s all team. Let's jump right into this, man. I don't want to hold you. I know I got about 20, 30 minutes with you. Mike McDaniel. Yeah. We get this young coach that comes in. We know he's from San Francisco. We know he's from the Shanahan tree. You played in games that Shanahan, the dad, Mike coached in. He had the space running, space running type system where, it's kind of every lineman just blocks down or blocks this way, fullback fills. Running back, scrape, see the hole go. Scrape, see the hole go. Scrape. Oh, the outside bounce or the cutback. That's what he's bringing, the zone, the zone running game there. Just your initial reaction on Mike McDaniel and just the juice that you feel he's kind of injected. Because I don't think we felt this since the Ricky Williams trade. Would you agree with that?
It's been a minute since it felt like this. I want to say before I get started, I give Coach Flores a lot of credit as far as breaking everything down and building it from the ground up. But his definitely impact was on defense. And I understand that coming from, the Belichick tree and all that, but he really solidified that. So basically when Mike McDaniel came in, it was kind of like the 49ers. They have really good defense. If you fix the offense, to complement the defense, you're really working with something. So, I just like the way he came in. He embraced South Florida, embraced the fans. And a lot of time you hear lip service about what we're going to do, this and that. But from the time he got there, I think it was a phone call he posted where he called Tua. They put it on social media or whatever. Yep. He had high expectations for him, this and that. And I think he will help develop and get the most out of Tua, put him in the best position to be successful. But the thing that I did like about what he said was, you're going to have to work. It's not like I'm going to give you something. You still got to put the work in to become what I envision you to be. And if you're not going to put the work in, and that's in any player. So he did that. And then free agency started. And next thing you know, I was kind of paying attention, but not really. And then next thing my phone started blowing up and I got on Twitter and we got this guy, we got Teron Armstead. That was kind of on the fence moment for me because a lot of people didn't know whether he was going to stay in New Orleans or come here. And, people was asking me, I say, well, I can see it can go either way. I mean, you just got to wait in a situation like that. But to be able to convince that guy, Connor Williams from the Cowboys, you solidify the left side of the offensive line. I know the right side is to his blind side, but I don't think he's finished. And I think with the coaches and stuff that he's brought in, I think we have a better mix where I think before we had a lot of young coaches that didn't have a lot of veteran experience or just have a lot of experience. So now that we got some veteran coaches in there, I think we can see some of these players, especially in the offensive line, get developed. But I think he's still going to bring in some other people to be competitive. And the more competitive you are at every position, the better it's going to make the team.
I'll tell you this, the reason why you weren't paying attention so much to free agency because you was watching your Aggies whoop ass in college basketball and shock everybody in the Big 12 and win that Big 12 tournament and then get stiffed on Selection Sunday and not get put into not win the Big 12, but knock some teams out, get to the championship game, and then not get in. So that's probably where your attention was. And every time I watch them, I think about you and a few other Aggies that I know. I had a friend of mine I went to high school with. He ran track at A&M. Okay. So back in Virginia, my man Gerard Smith, he went and ran track, long distance events at Texas A&M. So there's a few Aggies I have in my life and know. And I think about you. Every time I watch, I say, yeah, I know he's Sice right now watching them Aggies in basketball right now, man. So that's where your attention was, man. But let's focus on the offensive line. You played offensive line. They already named all of the accolades, 7-time Pro Bowler. And you protected, in my opinion, the greatest pure passer, maybe other than Unitas and Elway, as far as just dropping back and just letting the damn thing rip, regardless of who's blocking, who's receiving, what scheme it is, dropping back and letting that damn thing just go. Those are the three guys that I would put in front of anybody. So you know the importance of an offensive line. Armstead, I like it because he was the main guy that everybody wanted, but I'm with you on the side where he wasn't too sure whether he was leaving New Orleans. He had spoken. There was a quote that he wanted to stay. Now, was that lip service from a player? So the fan base, but fan bases normally don't get mad at linemen. If linemen leave, that's normally receivers, quarterbacks, star corners, guys like that that decide to leave. They got Russell Wilson had to say, I love Seattle, I love Seattle, I love Seattle. Oh, by the way, here's 5 teams I'll go to, but I love Seattle, love Seattle, love Seattle. And we all knew once the move was made, this thing was in the works 2 years ago. Yeah. You have to give lip service. But some numbers I got here. Last year, something that does trouble me, only 8 games last year. I don't think a lot of people are mentioning that. Dealing with some injuries. He is a 3-time Pro Bowler, but it's a 5-year deal, $75 million. I like the cap hit. The cap hit this year is only 3.9, and that's because they gave him $30.1 million the minute he put his John Hancock on the trophy. So I like it for the cap this year, and it shows that Greer and McDaniel, as you already mentioned, they're in sync with each other already. Yeah, we'll go after this guy, but we're not going to give him like top dollar. You're not playing like a top dollar tackle. You're playing as a A- type, B+ tackle, but you did miss 9 games last year. Like that is what it is. And we have to take that into account. And you mentioned Connor Williams. I like the pick. I love the age. He's only 24. He was able to learn under Collins and Zach Martin and those, some really good veteran linemen over there. Collins has now moved on. Zach's faced some injuries, but that was he was a young guy coming into that team. I watched this presser and he mentioned that he was able to learn there. His cap hits 5.9 this year, 3 years, $25 million. The Dolphins can get out of it next year. So I think this is a, hey, show me. Because he has some holding. I got some numbers right here. He had some holding issues last year. His first 3 years in the league, 5, 2, and 3. Last year, 11. You're a man that only had 14 your entire career. He had 11 last year. So that was something, too, that I kind of looked at. Talk to me about Cedric Wilson. How'd you see that signing from Dallas, a guy that got some targets once they went through some injuries last year, but is a speed big guy, which McDaniel wants to use. How do you think he fits in this offense?
I think he fits. I think he fits when you look at it. And I looked at him like the key word that you said to me was speed, but the other key word is big guy. So you can put Cedric Wilson, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and you can either go, which I didn't notice. I just found this out a couple of weeks ago. Gesicki runs a 4.4 for a tight end. I didn't know that. So you can either go with Gesicki or you can go with Devontae Parker, which he's probably 4.4, 4.5. But when you got 4-2, 4-2, probably 4-3, and then 4-4. It creates some serious matchup problems for, the defense or defensive coordinator. So it creates some matchups to where somebody should be winning on a play when you got that type of speed. Everybody shouldn't get locked up to where they can't create separation. So I think he's given two of the weapons. Everybody put the work in and do what they're supposed to do. We should really have an explosive offense.
No, I do believe that we are going to have an explosive offense. And I say speed, and also don't forget Darren Smythe. They gave him the extension and then tagged Gesicki so they could keep two of those guys for this year. I do think Devontae Parker has caught his last pass as a Miami Dolphin.
And that's possible.
I think they do move him. Listen, I never badmouth my team, man. I'll tell you what I see, but I'm a supporter. Just like with Tua, I'm not gonna go against the guy because he QB's my team. I want him to be successful, but I can see some of the things people say, but I'm just not. Oh, he can't do it. He can't do it. The guy's 13-9. He's 27 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, coming off of a catastrophic, almost hip injury that takes 2 years to come back from. You didn't believe in him. Pro Football Focus voted his line the worst in the league. Receivers don't show up every week and play. Fuller stole money. Devontae Parker's only played a full season once in his career, missed 9 games last year. Albert Wilson opted out after COVID. We traded Jakeem Grant. We held on to Preston Williams too long. People like, oh, Mac Hollins left. God, I wanted to keep him. Guys, the Raiders gave him a 1-year, $2 million deal. The market went hard. It wasn't strong for him, but we looked at it and said, okay, we think Cedric's better. We have a top 10 weapon in the end. We have a top 10 player and probably the league's 1A or 1B's best offensive weapon other than Deebo Samuel, right? I think if you talk about just single players that you put on the field that keeps defensive coordinators up all night long, it's Deebo and Tariq Hill. Okay, there's some other guys, but they all come in after that. So I thought the Connor Williams, back to him, like I said, I like the move. You're right, they solidified the left side. Let me ask you about Austin Jackson. First round pick, number 18. I live out here in LA. I go to the SC games. I saw it with my own eyes. He never did anything, excuse me, to me that jumped off the camera. Mm-hmm. But I get the size at 6'6", 6'7", 323. I get the size I get. Do you think that McDaniel and the staff are thinking, we're not getting rid of all these guys? Because sometimes coaches believe, hey, I can coach that guy. Yo, you guys just couldn't. You guys could, like GMs, right? All you need is one. There's always a GM that says, I can save that guy from the drug issues. I can save that guy from the domestic stuff, the police called. No, bring him over here. We can save that guy. I think coaches think that way too. Talk to me about Austin Jackson, because I think he's a guy that if he does develop, you plug him in at right tackle. And then honestly, they're not you guys, but we kind of got this Ayers, Webb, and Sims kind of right there, right?
Yeah, and I told somebody that. I said, Austin Jackson, if he's going to play, it's going to be probably the right tackle position. That's why I see him given an opportunity to compete, probably him and Liam Eichenberg. Yep. And I know Eichenberg has spent the majority of his time even at Notre Dame on the left side.
Yep.
And
I like that kid.
It's not as easy to move from one side to the other, especially when you play there alongside. But this is when you got to be busting your butt in the offseason, knowing, hey, when you see what's right in front of you, they signed Teron Armstead, this and that, you already know that's the left tackle. So if I'm going to play, if I'm going to be competitive, what's open? Like you said, Jesse Davis went to Minnesota. The right tackle spot is open for right now. So if you just got to be honest, okay, it's going to be between me and Jackson, or it's going to be between me and Eichenberg. Who wants it to work? What do I need to work on? This and that. Get with the coach, and like you said, some coaches feel I can fix him because Austin Jackson is very athletic. That was one of the things that he came out. The only thing that, and I saw that from the clips that I saw, the only thing that stood out to me was he was, I think, 20 years old when we drafted him.
Oh, yeah. He's only 20 years old.
Yeah, so which is young. And I say, man, if he stay another year, a lot of times people don't really realize sometimes that extra year makes a difference in the type of player, how you adjust to everything, this and that. So
to stay an extra year at USC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, hey, sometimes when the money there, you got to go. But sometimes it can come back to hurt you, because I've seen other players come out and I've even heard where the coaches say, "No, you really need to stay another year," and they go, and then it doesn't actually pan out because it's a maturity and all that plays into it. That sometimes you can have the athletic ability, but it's other areas that you might need to develop to become the player that they know you can become to be. So I can see, like what you said, PJ, the coach saying, I think I can fix this guy. Let me start getting with him now. He's there in the offseason, and then they fix those issues. I think you got your right tackle.
Well, they also brought in, listen, our head coach was in charge of the running game in San Francisco. I don't think a lot of people notice. He played receiver in high school and college, so he knows the receiver position. That's why he's able to look at a guy like Debo. And listen, Debo was a second-round pick. We get it. But you have to remember, Debo wasn't even the best receiver when he was at South Carolina. He was the number two on that team. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like Chase and Jefferson. I think people kind of forget Chase had that explosive year and then sat out, but Jefferson was the number one. Within that receiving core. And I think Chase sitting out the COVID year kind of had people move with smart. On now it was brilliant because we only had that 1 year to look at where he kind of fed off of Jefferson, but he could play in the NFL. I'm not acting like he was lucky there, but he wasn't the number one. Jefferson was the number one there. So Debo was the number two, and we see that he could play. But our coach comes in, he has $49 million to work with. We spent some money. We have $17.377 left in the cap. If you're helping run the money, where's Richmond Webb looking at? I'll give you a few names. I don't think they'll happen because I think if they were happening, it would have happened already. Okay. We had Honey Badger in, right? And I think he wants too much money at age 30. I was just listening to Mike NFL Network a minute ago, and one of the guys there was like, "Yeah, it's a money thing," but he's 30. And that's a barrier in the NFL. When you play defense and you throw your body around that much, and he's an all-in tackler, he's an all-in hitter, and sooner or later, Cam Chancellor was running through the league at safety, and it took one hit, and it took to the neck, and Cam Chancellor was never the same player again, and the Legion of Boom, from what we knew, was done from that point forward. It happens on defense. I don't know if you want to spend that type of money. Bobby Wagner, 170 tackles last year, tackling machine. You can move Raekwon out to the outside, and you can also move Baker to the outside. You plug a veteran in like that, that's probably got a huge chip on his shoulder because his release was a surprise to everybody. He didn't think he was getting cut and getting released in Seattle. So you think a guy like that, I know he was out here in LA, but that was 5-6 days ago. No deal's been done yet. If they're going to get that deal done, they got that deal done. Those are two names I look out there. I know people want to still address the offensive line, but I think McDaniel brought in two other Pro Football Focus rates as like top five of the offensive line coaches coordinated in the league. He brought those guys with him. So I think they see some guys, and that's why to my point about Austin, I think they see some guys on the roster. They go, okay, Davis, we get it. Jesse, listen, hey, buddy, go get yourself some money. But these guys right here, man, I kind of want to work with this. He's only 24. Look at the size of this kid. Let's see if we can coach this kid up, and we have 2 first rounds next year if we need to. But if you're Richmond Webb, you're helping run the money. $17 million left. Give me any guys that you look at and go, I would like to kind of see that guy in the Dolphin uniform.
Well, you brought up two, the Honey Badger and Bobby Wagner. And out of those two, I would have to lean a little bit more toward Bobby Wagner.
I agree.
With our safety situation and our secondary, the Honey Badger would be good, but I think we would benefit more from the impact from a guy like Wagner at the linebacker. Like I said, you could move Baker out or whatever, and like you said, he's playing with a chip on his shoulder. And I think Wagner sent out a tweet that the way he found out he had been released was on ESPN. They didn't even.
Yep.
And I'm like, this guy's like 7-8-time Pro Bowler. The player he been for you, and you just don't handle. That's just not, man. You just don't do that. Even if you're gonna release him, you call them and say, hey, man, it's business. It's not personal. And I know a lot of times as players, we take it personal, but they got to fit everybody within the cap. And sometimes they got to make tough decisions. So if they willing to trade, I look at it like this. If they willing to trade Russell Wilson to Denver,
yes,
anybody is fair game now because, that's just the way I look at it. If you're going to trade a quarterback like that, it wouldn't surprise me if you finna just unload everybody and restart over. But that Bobby Wagner and the thing that, like you say, he was just in LA or whatever, but the thing that I would be selling if I was him, say, look, you see the type of defense we got. We making moves on offense. The selling point that I would always have, you got great weather in Miami. Yeah, it gets humid, but you got great weather, living stuff to do, but it's no state taxes. So if you go get 10 from, say, LA, you could probably make 8 in Miami and still make the same. It's the number the same, but with you not having to pay taxes, you look at that and it's a selling point and just say, we just a player or two away to where we can really be deep in the playoffs. And once you get there, who knows, you can go on one of those runs like Cincinnati did. So that out of those two there that you just brought up, man, the first thing I started thinking about, I said, man, if we could get a player like Bobby Wagner in the middle, yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. Oh my.
Tackling down. And look, Jets can't run the football. Buffalo's ranked 27th in the league, and last year 26th in the league the year before last. So it ain't like we're facing. And when you do try to run against us, Christian Wilkins up front, we bring back Ogba and give him his money. So we still got our pass rush working up front. Van Ginkel, like I said, Baker, he played great on the outside. Raekwon Davis, he played great when they moved him to the outside. I don't know if Ginkel's that middle linebacker, but if you bring Bobby in, it's like, hey, bro, this is what it is. This guy's only going to be around 2 years, possibly anyway. Learn from a veteran, learn from a 2-time Super Bowl attendee, 1-time champion, and an all-pro guy. You ain't made up pro. So this is just what it is. You're still young. Yeah, you're the backup now, but we gave you your bread. You're getting some money. Like you said, hang out down here, South Beach, no state taxes. Cuba, Puerto Rican, Boricua, you know what I'm saying? Yo, papi, Dominicano, baby, it's all that. Listen, I don't even call it Miami when I'm there. I call it Miami. And I start to speak with a little, like, whenever I'm in Miami, I speak with a little accent, just with a little attitude. You know what I'm saying?
You fit right in, bro. Come on with it.
Yeah, I tell him, I'll be like, hey, is this Richmond Webb, baby? What's going on, Baba? How you doing? But then, give me a call. Okay, tell him to call me. I want to see him. That's like that. Yeah. So there's plenty of reasons to be in South Beach, man. So I won't keep you much longer, man. And I want to talk about Tua for a second because he's a guy you and I have talked about a lot. Okay. And I'm very stronghold on my people, man. You mentioned Flores. I've also said, like, shout out to Flores, but I understand it's a business. I'm not sure what was going on there with him and the owner. I don't speak on it. I ain't tweeted about it. All I know is I'll let the NFL do what they're going to do. I'll let people do what they're going to do. It's out of my control. I can't do nothing about it. I can write an email or a letter. It's going to be with the other 4 million that sent the end zone. But Flores did set this defense up. He did set this team up. There was always these stories whether he believed in Tua or not, or wanted Tua or not. But I'm starting to feel like Tua is getting the black and brown quarterback treatment. So I speak on it because I did for Cam. I did for Randall Cunningham. I do for Warren Moon. I do for Donovan McNabb, Dante Culpepper, Michael Vick. You name Cordell Stewart. You name it. I'll go back and be like, yeah, remember when they called him Slash? Because they didn't want him. Oh, he played quarterback. They didn't want him to be a quarterback. They didn't have a choice, okay? Let's be what it is. Lamar Jackson is an NFL MVP, and you still have people going, can you play quarterback? Oh, really? He won MVP at the quarterback position, but you're asking. So I think Tua, real talk, man, I think Tua's facing a lot of that because I'll bring up a guy like Sam Darnold, who had 4 years with the Jets. And people saw that coming out of SC. It's like, dude, you guys moved up to take that guy? Okay, good luck. And we saw what happened, but it was the Jets' fault. Watch what he does in Carolina. How'd that turn out last year? Just this morning, the Carolina Panthers are still considering Sam Darnold. You've had 5 years, and you haven't. Trubisky, we had 5 years, and you're still going to get a job. Okay, but we already want Tua gone. 13-7, as I mentioned, 27 touchdowns, 67% completion. Pro Football Focus gave him the worst line in football. Guys, that means the Bengals line was better, and we saw how bad that line was. And that line was better than what Tua had. I mentioned the receivers: Fuller, hurt, free agent; Parker, unproductive, 1 good year, 2019, contract year, 72 catches, 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns. Remember, contract year. Grant, we traded. Wilson opted out. He didn't want to play with us during COVID. That's fine. I get it. But you did leave your team hanging. And when you came back, you weren't the same guy anymore. You hadn't been playing. You didn't have the speed. They ended up cutting him. He's a free agent. And then Preston Williams, we held on to way too long. And I thought he played it. I thought he tried really hard. But listen, this is the NFL. This is a business. I don't have time for you to develop. Can you play? And it's been 2, 3, 4. Now we get the year 4. It's like Preston Williams. Nah, bro. It's over. So I look at Tua and I'm thinking Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Darren Smythe, revamp offensive line, revamp kind of energy around, man. I think I don't want to go out on a limb yet, Richmond, but I really think this kid can look like the kid that people saw at Alabama, man. And if that's the case, I'm gonna just say, look out, not AFC East, look out NFL. This is Tariq. I know 30, we gave him the money, but bro, you still got a game plan. You still got a game plan. Can in your opinion, I know it's early, so we'll call it the way too early Richmond Webb to your opinion. Can he turn this thing around, man, and be that guy and be that guy to lead this franchise with everything we see happen?
I think so. I've always been a fan of Tua, and I've always looked at what he did at Alabama and the seriousness of the injury. And I can remember his rookie year, how he had to work hard to even get back to be able to take snaps during his regular season. I think what a lot of people don't understand is, even though he made it back to where he could practice and do this, you still not comfortable to where you were previously before you got injured, because your body's muscle memories and this and that, and you take reps and you can throw the football. You know how to do that, but to have that hip strength, to follow through this and that, all that takes time to get back. Even though you're back from the injury, you've rehabbed, your body is still got to, the muscles is kind of get back to, okay, this is what we used to do. So I was kind of surprised even his rookie year when they said, oh, we're going with Tua. And I was like, why? Because Fitzpatrick was playing good. We was on a little roll. And I was like, don't rush. I guess I was of the mindset of, you don't really have to rush to get him out there if it ain't really no need to. And I just thought at the time it wasn't. So they make that decision, plays okay. And then the next thing he starts getting compared to Herbert out at LA Chargers. And I'm like, two different quarterbacks, two different systems, everything. You can't compare apples to apples because it's just two totally different things. So he makes it through his rookie year. He works hard, comes in shape. He's bulked up. You see his body's made transformations. And then to be put behind an offensive line like that. And I tell people, you know, fans would be like, oh, he should have got rid of the ball, this and there, a display. And I said, okay, let me give it to you like this. I could put you at quarterback. I could give you a football. And I said, okay, you got 2.5 seconds to go through your progressions, get the ball out before somebody hits you. I said, now that may be one play, but if it happens, you get hit in 15, I'm going to say at least 15 times a game, whether they sack you or not, you're still getting hit. Is your mindset still going to be the same, or does that affect you? And it doesn't matter. If a quarterback keeps getting hit, he can say what he wants to. It makes a difference. I've seen the best of them. It doesn't matter. If that defense gets after them, this and that, they get the happy feet. It's just part of it. So I think this year, like you said, and even the receivers, which is a great point, I think Waddle and Gesicki was probably the two that probably played with him the most. Everybody else was either hurt in and out. And you can't get no
cohesiveness.
Cohesiveness like that. Yeah, I know you got me. But you need that, because it's just like me and Keith playing side by side. It was times we could play. We kind of knew what each other was going to do without really having to say it. And you develop that. Tom Brady has done it. Peyton Manning, he would work at it. You could tell the people that does it, that it just, you'd be like, man, how did they do that? They've put the time, they put the work in. So if he can get some consistent receivers and get a consistent offensive line, it doesn't have to be the greatest, and he don't have to throw for 400 yards a game. You just need to be consistent with that type of defense we got. It just helps manage everything. So I'm really hopeful that we're going to see a different Tua, especially with the coaching staff we got now. Like you said, Mike McDaniels, he's understanding that. I like the way his offense is, this and that. And I think the people that's kind of been naysayers are kind of hating. There's going to be a lot of people jump on the bandwagon this year.
Man, I can't wait. I can't wait. And I'm going to tell them, get the hell off. I ain't that fair. Oh, come on. We got room. No, we ain't got room. If you wasn't with us during Marino, if you wasn't with us through 1-15 and drafting Jake Long, if you wasn't with us through Cleo Lemon and Brissett and Jay Fiedler and Brian Griese, don't give me Chad Pennington. I've gone through more quarterbacks. Okay, as a fan in my life, we don't want no bandwagoners. We only want the pure, true over here. Because the Dolphins, there's a Dolphins bar out here in Burbank, California. I didn't know. I looked it up online. So yeah, there's a Dolphins bar out here. I'm going to try it out this season. I'm going to try it out this fall, man. I'll be at the Chargers Dolphins game here, so I'll be there for that game. And I plan to come to Miami. I plan to go off to Miami for a game. I'll pick either the Bills or the Jets because I always wanted to be a division game. I kind of want to be there as a division with that division feeling in me, man. So I'll be there. I'll let you go on this, Richmond. The Richmond Webb, way too early. I get it. Record prediction. Just throw any. I'll give you mine. I'll start mine. I like 11-5 solidly because I've seen the schedule. It just depends on when we play everybody. They already have the home and away, but they haven't put out the schedule where that bye fits in. And two names too. Edmonds and Raheem are going to be so important to the run game because that's going to help feed all this other stuff we've been talking about. If this line can open up holes and they can just it's simplified. The zone running is simplified. You block down. Are you blocked down? One guard pulls or one tackle pulls, you block down as a running back, you get the ball, and you just scrape. And see the hole. That's not hard to do. I don't understand why more teams don't do that. It's the easiest run scheme in it. And to this day, it still works. Still works to this day. And they got that speed. You got two speed backs in there. So I like 11-5. Our off division, I believe we play the NFC South. So that's I believe the Bucks, the Panthers, the Saints, and the Falcons.
Falcons, yeah.
Falcons, yeah. I think that's our NFC off division, and I believe our AFC off division. I know we played the Chargers, but I don't think we played the Chiefs, the Rams. I don't think that's. I have to check and see what our AFC off division is. Again, it's not the North. I know it's not Cleveland, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. It's none of those teams. But I like 11-5 with just the weapons. I mean, listen, we were 10-6 2 years ago. And 9-8 last year, so I'm only 2 games off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's realistic. That's the way I look at it. We won 9 last year, with the type of offensive line we had, not having consistent receivers, and that was 9.
1-7. Start 1-7.
1-7, but it was even 9 without. I think the first year we won 10. We had seemed like we had a ton of defensive. TDs or whatever. The defense was scoring a lot of points at first. Not so much last year, but we were still able to turn it around. And like you say, we went like 9-8
last year. 2 years ago,
those me off with the 17-game season. Yeah. 2
years ago, I'll give you a cool stat. We actually led the league, tied for the league in turnover differential. We were plus 15, and we had 7 defensive touchdowns that year. So you're right. No, the defense. Yeah. The defense single-handedly won games like the San Fran game, the Rams game, and then Jakeem Grant had an 82-yard punt return. Van Ginkel had to scoop and score 80-yard run scoop. We were up 21-0 before they blinked, and then we just were able to just cut the defense loose on Jared Goff before he got started. We were able to just cut the defense loose on him and ate him alive. 8 sacks, I believe, that day. So yeah, you're right. The defense, and last year, the first 8 games, honestly, we got our asses. Our defense got their asses whipped up and down. I don't know what happened.
It was that, and it was like the games that we possibly won the year before. It was always a field goal. We lost probably 3 games at the last within the last minute. Team kick a field goal. I know Atlanta was one. I think the Raiders was one.
Jacksonville in England, in London. Yep.
Yeah. So you win. You get 2 of those. You add 11. So 11-12 shouldn't be. Barring injury, everybody stays healthy where we need them. Yeah. I say 11-12. We should be 11-12 easy. Yeah, we should have that many wins.
Listen, my man, I promise you I'll only hold you 20, 30 minutes. I know you're a busy dude. We haven't talked in a minute. You have no idea, and I think you do, because we rap, man. But this does a lot for me, man. It does a lot for my connection with the Dolphin community. My Dolphin Twitter is blowing up, man. And I really appreciate that you give an independent guy like me your time to come on, man. What are some other names?
Bro, you know you big time. Stop trying to do all that. You already don't do me like that, man. Come on, I know you, VJ. Stop all that, man. Come on.
Look, as I tell people, I'm the best unsigned independent sports talk guy in America.
Unsigned hype, like in the Source magazine. Stop all that, man. Get on with that, man.
I know. I try because, man, I get caught. You got to be humble, but no, I really do. Like I said, it ain't no suck up stuff, man. I remember you playing, bro. I remember you protecting Marino. So this is just really dope for me, man. So I thank you. And listen, let's ride out this season, man. Let's see what's up. I'll hit you later this summer. Get you back on the training camp, and we'll just see what's up from there, man. So I appreciate you. Please tell my people where they can find you, though, where they can follow you on social media, please.
Richmond Webb, Twitter, Richmond Webb, Facebook, and actually somebody had my name on Instagram, which I'm still kind of learning Instagram, but I'm the real Richmond Webb on Instagram. So you can find me on all 3 platforms. And
good luck to Texas A&M. They're picking you guys to really make some noise with Jimbo Fisher and that crew in football this year. They're picking you guys. I'm hearing some rumblings, man. They say spring practice and look real good, and things are coming together for this year. Got some hard games at home. It's gonna help Texas A&M out this week. I'm hoping Michigan bounces back and finishes the job they didn't finish last year. So I'm pulling hard for that. And my Tar Heels this weekend, we sending Coach K into retirement. We already took care of his last home game.
Yeah,
we already took care of that. Y'all,
Jersey, man. Y'all didn't have to handle them. They had all those ex-Duke players back there,
crying.
And then
crying. Christian Leitner crying. Shane Battier, Jay Will crying. Had them crying. And this Saturday night, it's going to be more. This Carolina winning it all, bro. Real talk.
I'm looking for a hell of a game, bro. It should.
Ain't gonna be no blowout. We gonna beat them, and I'm gonna say we whooped their ass, but we gonna beat them. Even if it's by 1, I'm gonna be like, man, we let y'all hang in. We whooped y'all ass. We let them hang in. Feel good, man. Please.
I love those type rivalries, man. I do. It's just, man, you can't beat it. So I've been loving. I mean, there's been some great games in March Madness. I live for this part of the year because
I know, right?
I love college basketball.
And look, not only that, I'll let you roll in this. The NFL came through and hijacked everything over the last 3 years. Baseball getting their deal done, March Madness conference tourneys, NBA playoff races heating up. Lakers and LeBron are in the news every day. The women's, and the NFL came through and said, hold on. That's all cute. All that other shit, y'all, that's cute, but we're the NFL.
Yeah.
We're the big boys of the big boys when it comes to sports business.
Yeah,
y'all step aside. We got some Brady news, some Rodgers news. Oh, damn, Miami going to do some. Miami on the phone. Yeah, they came through and hijacked everything, man.
And Brady did it when he announced he was coming back.
Yeah,
everybody almost forgot about March Madness, right?
Yeah, because he did it on Selection Sunday. It's Selection Sunday, and it's like, hold on, who got the number ones? Well, hold up, who coming back? Brady coming back? Man, I ain't look at my brackets for like 2 days. And I had to go, oh, damn, it's Wednesday. Let me fill my brackets out.
Man.
So, listen, man, God bless you and the whole family, man. One love to you, brother. I'll holler at you, man. We'll wrap.
Okay, VJ.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
My man Richmond Webb there. I love it, baby. I love it. Listen, we going to keep rolling because I'm back. My man is waiting on me. He heard me. We was texting this morning. Yeah, I'm back, man. Sometimes in your career, guys, when you line up life and you line up your career, honestly, sometimes you got to make different moves. That's just the way it is. So and that's what I did. I had to reset myself. Sometimes you got to reset. Y'all old enough to remember we used to have to blow inside the Nintendo cartridge, turn your head, and blow inside the Nintendo itself. Y'all remember them days? Sometimes you got to do that with your life, man. You got to blow inside your cartridge. Oh, that's nasty. I'm sorry. Blow inside your cartridge. Hey, yo, you be blowing inside your cartridge? That's my comedy, my man. But let me bring my man in here, man. He is from the Up in Flames podcast radio show, man. This guy's been on my show before. I thought I would never meet anybody that talks as fast and as much and as loud as I do until I met this dude. Then I was like, okay, this brother is kind of nice at what he does, though, man. But he's also on Twitter, man. I'll let him plug his Twitter in for you guys, too. I've seen him on other shows that he's done. He was on with me and Curtis Marsh Jr. Also, Curtis, get at me, bro. What's the deal? What happened? You just kind of disappeared on me, man. Holler me. Former Eagle defensive back, Raider defensive back from Utah State. But my man Mo Murphy's in the building right now, man. Y'all say what up, my man Mo Murphy. Mo, what up, player?
Yo, what's going on, bro? Hey, I see you came back with the magic, bro. You came back with the magic, but I had to hit the hard pause on the, the blowing your cartridge. Like, hold on, somebody might take that out of context.
Hey, Mo Murphy be blowing in his cartridge, guys. Just so y'all know. He'll blow on your cartridge. Listen, you know me, I'm a stand-up comedian, man. I'm gonna flip that so hard. You'd be with a little honey dip, it'd be like, she'd be like, you be going down, girl, I'll blow in your cartridge. Talk to me. Some girl, she going, oh, girl.
You won't believe what somebody said to me.
This vanilla brother told me he was gonna blow on my cartridge. I was like, okay, Nintendo, let's go. Okay, Mike Tyson's Punch Out, Contra. I'm gonna start calling him up, down, left, right. Anybody know? You know what that is? Up, down, left, right. BA select start. You know what code that's for?
Man, that sounds like something from like Street Fighter or something, but I took it all the way off.
It's Contra. It gives you 30 men in Contra. Up, down, left, right. BA select start.
Why do you remember that? Like, maybe that's the question. Why you remember that?
I'm an elephant, man. I have a memory like an elephant. You know, elephants are the only animals in the animal kingdom, research shows, that can remember when they're born.
It makes sense.
That's how great their memory is. Okay, you were back there watching, man. You heard me talking to the former NFL All-Pro, Pro Bowler, 90s Hall of Fame team. He needs to be in a Hall. Him and Keith Sims and Zach Thomas are 3 Dolphins that need to be in a Hall of Fame, man. So I'm going to let you start because it would be too much homerish for me to start with how wonderful my Dolphins have acted this offseason, bringing in probably the league's most dangerous weapon other than Deebo Samuel. Just some other moves we made, man. NFL free agency, you're a big NFL guy. I'm going to let you rant for a second, brother. Just tell me, what have you seen? What have you liked? What do you don't like? What shocked you? And something else that may be surprising you, like Bobby Wagner still being without a team, Tyrann Mathieu still being without a team, Brown, the offensive tackle, still being without. There's some still Stephon Gilmore still being without a team. Talk to me, Mo Murphy. Holla at me, B.
I mean, so I'm a lot younger, but from the OGs that I listen to, everybody, I've heard the thing that I thought, bro, this had to have been the craziest March, like the craziest offseason, you know what I'm saying, in NFL history. I mean, from the moves we've seen, multiple quarterbacks, like we thought Aaron Rodgers would leave. Some thought he would stay, whatever. He decided to stay, and we thought, okay, then boom, Russell Wilson gets traded. What? A couple hours after Aaron Rodgers makes his. Tom Brady, had some people convinced he was retired. I didn't think he was retired.
I did.
I didn't.
I'm not gonna lie. I did, bro. I thought he was done.
So I'm gonna tell you why. Maybe this was the wrong way to read into it. Tom Brady has a production company, right? Mm-hmm. And so after every game, he does like a little highlight video, a little recap, him and Gronk walking or whatever, and then highlights of their game, whether it's a win or loss. And he goes out typing us a message on his Apple iPhone notes to tell us on how he's going out on retiring. It just, no speech, no come out and big party in New England. Like, it just didn't seem like, I thought he was going to go out with a big bang. We're not talking about this being like Aaron. We talking about the GOAT. Like, we talking about the greatest football player, at least the greatest quarterback of all time. And he kind of went out. Yeah. He kind of went out, I ain't gonna say he went out sad. He just went out too small for me, for a 7-time Super Bowl champion, the greatest quarterback we've ever seen. The definition of what you want to see in a winner, longevity. And like, he typed everything out in his Apple Notes. So I wasn't convinced. And then you started hearing rumors. Oh, he's retired right now, but he's linked to San Francisco, this, that, and the other. Bruce Arians was constantly asked, like, what would it take? When those rumors came out, they asked him about it. And he was like, 5 first-round picks if you want Tom Brady. If he coming back, he playing for the Bucs, period. And I feel him on that. But it was like, just the fact that he even had to answer these type of questions about a quarterback who essentially retired, and he didn't retire with New England, which I thought, like, okay, if Tom Brady retires, he will sign a 1-day deal to retire a New England Patriot. So for me, there were just a lot of things that I felt like I'm not fully convinced that there's not a chance for him to come back. I also thought he would wait till about training camp to come back too. I didn't think he'd wait to say, yeah, it's been what, 5-6 weeks. You know what? I'm back. And I think it makes so much sense because the NFC weak. The NFC is weak. If I'm Tom Brady, he just led the league in passing touchdowns, passing yards, completions, had a case. He was just an MVP candidate. Sure. If I'm going to come back, if I'm going to play, I have a chance of, at the very least, making it to a Super Bowl. If you're not the favorite, the only team you're worried about running through if you're the Tampa Bay Bucs is the Rams. So you got one game where you're like, okay, maybe we're the underdog. going into the playoffs. Obviously, that's barring any major injury, but that's for anybody. So when he came back, obviously he stole Selection Sunday. Like you said, I was sitting there watching Selection Sunday, and then boom, Tom Brady puts out that tweet. It goes on Instagram, and now I'm scrolling. I'm like, I don't even care who the overall number 1 seed is. I don't care about the matchups. We'll figure that out.
I can check all that later. I
want to see what people are saying about Tom Brady returning, how everybody feeling about it. And, some people are negative about it. Some people are positive about it. I'm like, oh, this is a soap opera. I'm like, man, when you the GOAT, when you the greatest of anything, you could do things your way, and it doesn't matter the negative feedback, right? Like when Jordan had left and came back, what you was going to say to Mike? He's Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're the greatest of something, that nobody can tell you how to operate. So then you start, you get into free agency. We got the quarterback trades, going to the Deshaun Watson situation. He gets traded, gets a bag, by the way, like, fully and Cleveland kind of swings out of left field, fully guaranteed, 230. Cleveland comes out of left field. He has shut them down. I'm not going to play. Tries to tell us it's not about the money. Bro, you went to Cleveland because it's all about the money. You had the opportunity to go home and play for the Atlanta Falcons, and you didn't. You had the opportunity to make some noise in the NFC South with the Carolina Panthers as well, and you didn't. You had the opportunity to go to the other NFC South team in New Orleans, and you didn't. And I kind of thought if Deshaun Watson go there, Jarvis Landry will go there, Odell Beckham might go over there, bring them Louisiana boys back home. But it's also a different vibe in New Orleans because Sean Payton's not there. So we get there. And then, like you said, I think right now the most important thing is who's still out there. Stephon Gilmore, no team. Could help a team win a championship.
Why?
I don't know. Like Tyrann Mathieu, why hasn't he signed? Like
30 years old and he wants too much money. I can tell you why Honey Badger's not. He was in Miami, and stories were they were trying to work on the deal. They weren't trying to let him leave, but he wants too much money at 30 for defensive, an aggressive defensive back player who, missed some time last year when he got dinged up, caught a concussion late in the year, missed some time. It just, I don't know why a guy at his point right now, he's already had 2 contracts, looking for that third. I don't know why a guy at his point of his career doesn't get what you could get and push for the money. I got him 2 or 3 more years being an effective football player. I'm looking at Jabril Peppers signs a 1-year deal with the Patriots today, and I'm like, how the hell is that? This kid was a captain for the Giants the last 2 years. How is he on his 3rd team already? The defensive players defensive back guys who really lead in with their head a lot, man, and really they're great tacklers. They're aggressive players. They don't last long. Cam Chancellor, right? There's a perfect example. Guy was wrecking offenses for about 4.5 years. And once he got that neck injury, he was never the same again, and we never heard from the Legion of Boom again. So I can tell you why Tyrann Mathieu is still out there. He wants too much money. Somebody will sign him because he's going to have to buck down. Remember Juju last year? He didn't take the Chiefs deal because he thought he would get more. He ended up signing 1 year back with Pittsburgh for a little less than what he was going to get. And then this year, now he goes back to the Chiefs, but it was nowhere near the deal they were going to give him or he could have made last year. So I don't know about, I'll let you continue with the other guys, but I'll tell you why the Honey Badger's still not signed. 30 years, he'll be 31, and he wants too much money for his aggressive style of playing on defense.
But I don't blame Honey Badger either. He won a Super Bowl. So he's not playing for, I don't know if he's playing for a championship, essentially. Like that might not get the bag. I don't blame him. You know what I'm saying? I know you don't blame him.
Okay, I feel you.
Because here's my thing. When I look at, and I talk about this in NBA, I talk about this in NFL, not everybody has a legacy. Not everybody is going to be legendary. So therefore, their point is to get the bag. My main thing, like when I go to the NBA, Bradley Beal. Everybody like, oh, he needs to go here. He needs to go there. He needs to win. No, he doesn't. If Bradley Beal wins a championship, do you really care? Does he have a legacy? Does him winning a championship make him legendary? Wow. No. So why not stay in Washington and get that 5 years, $240-something million? Because not everybody playing for a legacy. That's the cream de la creme play for a legacy. Look, Brady's playing for a legacy. Matt Stafford went to the Rams to win, to play for a legacy, kind of changed the narrative on his career. Yes. Aaron Rodgers, but you're not, even when we talk, and then we're talking about a defensive back. Like, we don't have, maybe Jalen Ramsey is a guy who's like playing for a legacy, but do you care if a DB wins a Super Bowl, essentially? Like, if you are a great corner or a great defensive back, doesn't matter that there's not a Super Bowl attached to him. Like, so that's kind of my thing. In football is different. We only care about championships when it comes to really quarterbacks. Because as Jerry Rice was, is his greatness measured on his Super Bowls? No, his greatness is measured on the numbers because he leads in every category. So he was going to be the greatest wide receiver of all time, whether he won a Super Bowl or not. That's just a plus to put him in the category.
Moss has 0. People think he's the second or third best receiver ever. You're right.
He has 0. Like, you know what I'm saying? So the next few guys on that list either have 1 or none. It's all about numbers, except when we talk about quarterbacks. Winning only matters with quarterbacks. So I don't blame Honey Badger. He already got a Super Bowl. He's not going to go down as some legendary safety. He might be like, he was really good in his time, but he's not going to be legendary. 2 or 3 Super Bowls isn't going to separate him from, he's not Ed Reed. He's not Troy Polamalu. So get the bag. I don't blame him for overvaluing himself.
Okay.
Yeah, you feel me? So he's not going to be there. And even with like Bobby Wagner, they say the Rams had high interest, right? But his asking price was a little too high for the Rams. They didn't want to sign him at that price. Somebody will, though. Like, somebody will acquire Bobby Wagner services. As the list gets shorter and shorter of the targets that you want, you will give Bobby Wagner the money that he's asking for. He's not asking for $25 million a year, one. And he's on the end of his career. He's trying to get that last bag, whether it's a 1-year deal, 2-year deal. He's trying to maximize how much money he can leave the NFL with. He won a Super Bowl. He was with Seattle. He did some great things. But like I said, when it comes to legacy, certain positions in football, that's out the window. Bobby Wagner's a great linebacker. Is he Ray Lewis? Is he Brian Urlacher? No, but he's a great linebacker. Do you care if Bobby Wagner wins another Super Bowl? No. So why not go get the bag? I'm chasing the bag. I don't need to play for the Rams and be, you think of me, you think of me after you think of Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey and Floyd. Like,
and
I don't
Stafford and Cub. And they brought in Allen Robinson, Cam Akers.
I don't want to be the afterthought. I'm gonna try and get this bag, and so I'm the only thing I'm biased. I'm wondering why the Cowboys ain't gonna get him. Like we could use a Bobby Wagner. You know, he played in Dan Quinn's system when Dan Quinn was over there in Seattle. Like,
you said it already though. Asking price.
I get that, but the Cowboys
don't have the money to sign a Bobby Wagner.
They've made so much moves to cut down their salary cap. I think right now they're second in what teams have left in salary cap after the first 2 waves of free agency. They're second in the NFL with cap space. There's not a lot of guys you see them signing. They haven't gone after Jarvis Landry, who is another free agent that I'm surprised isn't getting more buzz. Heard he was going to go to Atlanta with Deshaun Watson, so probably his whole plan.
Yeah. Him and Fuller had talked, and they were going to, if Deshaun went to Atlanta.
And that makes sense.
Let me look on Jarvis just real quick. The other names I don't have no problem. Other names you're bringing up, I don't have a beef with. Jarvis, and he played in Miami. Listen, I love Jarvis. I thought he was great there, but he is still just that guy that he's not going to run a great route tree. He's more just rough and tough off the line of scrimmage, get past DBs, run short routes, run bubble screens, things of that nature. So if you don't have that spot or that type of system for him, you just don't go bring him in. And Dallas doesn't run that. Dallas doesn't run. Dallas wants to drop back, play action to Zeke, or handoff Zeke, play action to Zeke, or shotgun to Dak with still a 3-step drop. Receivers running 12 to 15 yards route, good line, hold up. Zeke pick up the blitzing linebacker, boom, hit CD Lamb 15, 20 yards down. Boom, hit this receiver, Gallup now. Amari Cooper's gone, but Jarvis wouldn't fit. And I think that's where he's finding an issue is because, listen, free agency started. You see, the better players go right off the board. I mean,
they're gone.
They're announcing this shit before. Really, free agency was Thursday. We heard Tuesday, such and such is agreed to do a deal with such and such is going to go here for this. The real players that people look at and go, listen, you can just plug that guy in. You don't, it doesn't matter the system. He's going to work within it. So they go off the board. Stephon Gilmore, I'll go back to his name. I think, now that I sit here and I think about it more, I think the name is what's surprising us. But let's get real. He's a free agent and he's available. Teams probably saw a lot of film in Carolina last year and said, yeah, he looked great in the Bill Belichick system. But, I mean, Buffalo was what it was. But we're watching him down here in Carolina. He's getting beat. Like, he's
now. What is he about to be? 30? Is he 32? About to
32
be
or 33? Yeah, 32, 33. So, receiver-wise, I'm more interested. Like, I tell you this. I named 2 people with Richmond Webb that I would go get up for defense. But if I'm Miami, I think they can use one more veteran receiver, a vet receiver. And the 2 names that come to mind would be Julio or AJ. And even if they don't play 17, and they won't, neither one of them will play 17, but to have them in the locker room, I put their locker in the middle. I put Waddle and Tariq on one side of his locker, and I take Cedric Wilson and I put him on the other side, and Gesicki and put him on, and you set AJ Green or Julio right in the middle. You have a veteran there. You have Julio that's played in the Super Bowl. Yeah, AJ played well for Arizona last year. He played like he looked at it. He went out there and really ball, especially with DeAndre going out. So if there's still some guys left, I think veteran leadership is probably what you want to add. But veterans also have to understand we can't pay you what you got on your last contract. You're not that guy. You're not that guy anymore.
And think about with Julio, think about the wonders he did the minute he linked up with AJ Brown in Tennessee last year. We can't say that it's not a coincidence that AJ Brown gets around a guy like Julio and elevates his game. We saw it as soon as training camp. Who was he with? Like Julio took him under his wing and was like, Julio, he's older now and he's kind of injury prone, but he's a great receiver. Like he's an all-time great receiver. Where you have him on your all-time list is different discussion, but he is an all-time talent that we've seen. And so you could use that with a young cat like Jalen Waddle. If you're talking about him going to Miami, young cat like Jalen Waddle, a dynamic piece that we know in Tyreek Hill that can beat you in 1,000 different ways, so and then you still, like you said, you got Devontae Parker, whatever. I think they're talking about trading him anyway.
Yeah, no, he's caught his last Dolphins pass.
And then you got Gesicki, who's a tight end, athletic tight end, top 5 tight end in the NFL. I don't think anybody would have any problems with saying that. And then you just get another guy that would come in and embrace Tua as a young quarterback. You get that veteran receiver, and you kind of teach everybody, like you said, he's played in the Super Bowl. He knows how to be great, and he knows what it takes to win. Even though he fell short, ain't nobody blaming Julio Jones for that. Like, he knows what it takes to be great to win. And so to set that tone for the offense itself and a first-year head coach, I think Julio would be perfect for the Miami Dolphins. And like you said, with the weapons they have, Cedric Wilson, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Gesicki, he ain't even got to play the first half.
Don't forget Durham Smythe. Listen,
he ain't got to play the first half of the season.
Yeah, and this is just my psychology and the way I look at things. They franchised Gesicki. They gave Smythe the extension because I think the coaches look and go, Gesicki's better now, but this guy's going to be better. When Smythe would make plays, Gesicki would go running onto the field. Like that shows me that these guys, you see the work in practice, you see the work they put in. So when it translates to the field, you're generally happy for that dude because you've been with him all damn week. You've seen the work he puts in. And when they gave him the extension, that told me, I said, okay, they're either going to franchise. I called it. I said, they're either going to franchise Gesicki or they're going to let Gesicki walk. One or the other, but because they would have gave Gesicki the extension. But that means they think he's better now, but this kid's going to be better down the road. And McDaniel and them looked around and said, no, let's give him the extension. I got plans for this kid. Yeah, we keep a top 5 guy now, but we're going to – listen, top 5 one year, fall out the next year. We saw what Mark Andrews did last year. No Tariq Hill in Kansas City. We're going to see 2 things. We're going to really see how good Pat, and I'm not trying to diss Pat, but we're going to see how good Mahomes really is, and we're going to see how good Travis Kelce really is. But now that you don't have all those eyes, yeah, you bring in Valdez Scantling and you need some other Pete Juju, but those guys aren't Tariq Hill even combined, bro. So, and Juju had the injury last year. He is a little old. Well, no, he's not. He's still young enough, which was surprising why he was not getting more money. But Valdez Scantling, they wouldn't even look for him in games last year. Big, fast guy. I get it. But Harmon's still there. We'll see. But they're not Tariq. And we're going to see how good Kelce really is. One free agent move I haven't mentioned all day long that I think is super. Well, 2 I think are super overrated. I think Russell Wilson to the Broncos is super overrated because everybody's looking at this thing on paper. Sutton couldn't stay healthy. Jerry Jeudy still hasn't learned to get off double coverage. He's going to face more of that this year. You're going to let Gordon go, which was your leading rusher, and that's fine. I get it. He's a little older, 32 years old. Might not want to pay him, but you're telling Williams he's going to be the starter. Williams had 7-8 fumbles last year. Like he fumbled the ball, and as a rookie, he fumbled. Like you got to fix that. And I would think I would still need a veteran. So while he fixes this, before I give him the reins. You traded away Noah Fant, so that took away from the offense.
A quarterback.
I still think the Chiefs are great. The Raiders bring in Chandler Jones. They bring in Devontae Adams. They're going to be better now. The Chargers are going to be better now. They looked at defense and said, okay, we'll take J.C. Jackson, a top corner in the league. We'll plug a Khalil Mack, which I think will be okay. And I think he'll matter more in December and January than he will in September, October, and the first half of November.
You don't need him to be the great Khalil Mack. You just
no. Like I said, January, like what Ndamukong Suh was for the Bucs a few years ago. Yep. What Von Miller had just enough in the tank. He had just enough in the tank to make just enough plays for what that defense needed with Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey locking down one side of the field already, right? So I just need you to do this, and he fits that, which is honestly a quite unexpected and anticipated segue. The most underrated free agent move to me was the 6 years and $120 million that the Buffalo Bills gave to said Von Miller. I don't like this deal. He'll never see 3 years there. He'll be gone in 2 years because they'll cut him because his cap hit's going to be just way too high in year 3. I think this is a move for a year or two. I'm with you. Von's got 2. Go get a bag. But I think this move is totally overrated. And I don't think it ends well. It's cold in Buffalo. Them old muscles, man. Like, LA's different than Denver. LA's different than Denver, bro. It's warm out here. Stretch a little easier, stretch a little better. You go up to Buffalo, it gets cold up there, man. Them muscles, I can see a hamstring bothering them or a groin or a calf or some type of muscle that doesn't just get loose enough in the cold. And I think by next year, this has J.J. Watt to the Cardinals written all over for me. But I agree with you. You got 2 rings. Go get the bag. And I think Von Miller is in discussion of top 15 pass rushers, specialized pass rushers of all time. So he is working with the legacy, but he's got the 2 rings already. So go get the bag. And if anybody questions it, you can always say, well, damn, they were just in the conference championship game 2 years ago. They should have won a divisional game this year against Kansas City, but our defense couldn't stop any damn body. So you can always defend the move that way too. But that to me was the worst and most overrated move as far as play is concerned. He never sees year 3 there. He plays 2 years there, and then we'll see what happens with Von Miller. Any moves that you thought we looked at and you're like, I don't know why y'all so hyped over that? Or is there a move you looked at and you're like, damn, why ain't nobody talking about that move more?
As far as so hyped, I don't think it's overhyped the move, but I think your Dolphins sent a message by going to get Tyreek Hill. And I think that's something that not a lot of people are talking about. They're talking about Tyreek Hill. The Dolphins and Mike McDaniel just sent a message to Tua. If there was a seat that was on fire and burning to see what you gonna do, it is Tua's. Tua is on the hot seat this year. First off, I don't think there's a way. It would take a lot of major injuries because the Dolphins defense is pretty good too. Yeah. Underrated defense. I don't think there's a way for the Dolphins to suck to be in the quarterback running next year for CJ Stroud or Bryce Young. Okay. But you put Tua in the hot seat to the point like if he doesn't produce you ain't got Cedric Wilson, you ain't Tyreek Hill. We saw what Jalen Waddle was last year. You were able to keep Gesicki for a year. You got him 2 running backs. Like you did everything. You improved that offensive line. Yeah. So you did everything you could do to give Tua in year 3. Like, are you our guy moving forward, or do we move off you? And so I think Tua's going to be under a lot of pressure once training camp starts and we actually see these rosters step on the field. We hear about things coming out of training camp. I think Tua is on the hottest of hot seats. Like, I'm sure there's coaches going into next year, but I think that's the part that nobody was really talking about how much it means for Tyreek Hill to be in Miami, but how much pressure did it add on Tua? And I'm sure he'll embrace it. He's a guy who says all the right things. Yeah. Everybody's going to endorse Tua. Yeah. He's a great human being, great personality. So I don't think it'll go rocky as far as embracing Tua and figuring out how we get the best out of him. But I guarantee you, by week 8, week 9, if you ain't got the best out of him, you got a quarterback that you know what you're going to get from him behind him, which I think is very important. That's another aspect that put him on the hot seat. Y'all ain't got Teddy Bridgewater.
You like the Teddy signing.
I like it because it put a fire under Tua's ass, and if he doesn't perform, you know you're going to get average quarterback play from Bridgewater. You at least know with all the weapons you have and the good defense, you at least know you could be a playoff team with Teddy Bridgewater? Do you become
you get average? They're good for him. You won't get bad from him because it's just too many weapons.
Right. It's too many weapons. You'll get average quarterback play.
Yeah.
So Tua has to, at the very least, play a little bit above average, because if they feel like, all right, it's time to move off of Tua because we're going to get the same production from Teddy Bridgewater, that'll be the
I got good. He has to have good to great quarterback play, or they will
top. Yeah. Tua has to be a top 12 quarterback, 15? Okay. So he's got to give you Kirk Cousins production.
Yeah.
At least.
I'll take it. That's 37. That's 34 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Hell yeah.
If he gives you Kirk Cousins production, Kirk Cousins is a good starting quarterback. He's not great. He won't take you over the hump for a Super Bowl, but if you put the right things around him, which you'll have with coaching, defense, we'll see what Mike McDaniel is as his own guy, but you put everything around him. If he could be Kirk Cousins, Miami could be a pretty damn good team this year, like a really good team this year. So I just think with the Tyreek Hill and then bringing in Bridgewater, I think what people, maybe they're waiting for the season to start to kind of put him on the hot seat, but I think even going into camp, I think Tua is competing every day to kind of show like this is it. That you're in year 3. It's about to be the time where we can start talking contract extension, which I doubt no matter how great he plays this year, he'll have to get an extension. But they'll be looking at his price tag going into year 4.
He has to play out his rookie. He's going to have to play out. He would have to take us to the bowl next year to get an extension.
But I think if in year 3 he could give you Kirk Cousins production, and then in year 4, if he steps up from that production, if he starts to elevate, I think you possibly give him an extension after year 4. But it depends, because the market is telling you in 2 years your quarterback gonna be worth $50 million a year.
I get it, but in his 8 losses, 15 interceptions. That's 2. Well, his overall record is 13-8. So I just look at the losses and I'm like, okay, so we lost 8 of those games. You've thrown 15 interceptions. I know a handful of them games, at least 2 or 3, you've thrown 2. So that's 6 in 3 games. He's got to cut that out. Like, he's got to cut that out. He's got to be able to not turn the ball over. But I think, as I was talking to Richmond about, it just pours back to the line. It pours back to the line. And to me,
that line was terrible.
Armstead to me wasn't the get. I think the get was Connor Williams. I think he was the get because he's that interior line guy, and that's where Tua feels pressure. And when you see him get rattled and pull his eyes down, when they show that back view, you can always tell when a quarterback pulls his eyes down. And once you pull your eyes down, you're now looking at the rush, so you can't see who's breaking open. You can't see who made an adjustment. You can't see anything. The middle of this line has got to hold up and got to get a push and be a brick wall. Armstead on the left tackle end is going to be just fine because he's a 3-time All-Pro, Pro Bowler left tackle. I'm more concerned with the inside. Tyreek Hill does open up so many other things, but I also think that if you don't have time, we just can't throw bubble screens all game. We just can't run pitch reverses or receiver coming in motion and take the snap and motion to sprint across the line. I love those plays, but I still want to see them be able to play action, 5-step drop, Tua takes 1 step, 2 step, be able to move up in the pocket to make a throw. When you're throwing back like this a lot, man, it's hard. But when you're able to drop back and then move up, and step into your throw and fire, that means that inner pocket is being protected. The pressure coming from the outside is why you step up and learn to step up anyway. But guard, center, guard, AB, 1, 0, 0 through 3, however you number your gaps, that has to be the focal point. That's why I think with $17.37 million left, there's got to be – I would love a veteran receiver, but I think there's a lineman they're still looking at. Or I think there's a guy in the 3rd and 4th round. We see 3rd and 4th round linemen become all pro all the time. But I think there's a guy or two they have their eye on, and they're not done yet. And they're going to plug him somewhere in the middle. He's got to be plugged in there, and you got to be a wall, bro. Because with the offense we run, we need this kid to get his confidence back. It wasn't the press. It wasn't the coaches. It wasn't social media. Tua lost his confidence because he's coming back off of a damn near catastrophic hip injury, and he lost his confidence because he was getting his ass killed. And you just heard a former All-Pro lineman on the show say, I've seen the best of them. If they're not getting protected, dog, it takes 5 or 10 plays, and the next thing you know, that clock's fast in their head. And they start looking down, and they don't have confidence to step up. That's why you mentioned Peyton Manning. Jeff, I want to plug in there too. when I wanted to throw his name in there when he was talking about it, I want to interrupt him. Jeff Saturday. Jeff Saturday was the wall in the middle. All those years, Tom Brady had the same thing with his centers and his guards in New England. What's Tom Brady the best at? Stepping up and climbing. They call it climbing the pocket. Nobody did it better. Why? Because guard, center, guard, ABC, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, and that. Don't matter how you number them. That right there was as solid as a rock, like the old song used to say, solid as a rock. You know what I'm saying?
I know who the guy is for Miami. I think, they gave up their first and second round pick. There's a guy I think will be available in the third round, a lineman out of Memphis, Dylan Parham. Mm-hmm. I think he will be the guy.
I've heard his name.
And yeah, I think he'll be the guy. I think he'll fall to the third. I expect him to fall to the third round unless the team gets desperate and gets him late second. But I think Miami, if he's sitting there in the third round for Miami, I think that's who they get. I think that'll be their first.
Miami trades back up into the second round some way, somehow.
They got 2 first-round picks next year. Like, the whole thing is everybody looks at what do you have this year, but assets are valuable. See, draft assets are way more valuable in the NFL than they are in the NBA. Draft picks don't mean jack squat in the NBA, essentially. You don't care about somebody getting a first-round pick. It doesn't matter, especially when it's not lottery. It's not deep. It's only a 2-round draft. If we trade one of our first-round picks or whatever to move up because we know this is the guy or however you do it, we give you our third this year and our third next year to move up into the second round to get a guy that we scouted, and love, that matters. And so, you have that third, fourth, and fifth. Those are valuable draft assets to have, and they have their third, fourth, and fifth this year. They also have 2 first-round picks next year. There's a lot of things Miami could do that could be very convincing to a team that if a guy falls that they were looking at, start looking at, like you said, Miami to move up in the second round. Whether it's for a lineman, whether it's for a receiver that's sitting there, whether it's for some key position for them, if there's a guy that they valued higher, because all the scouts think different. So if Miami's scouting staff valued this guy higher than most and they can move up and go get him, there's plenty of draft capital that the Miami Dolphins have set themselves up over the years to make moves like this.
It could be a linebacker because everyone in the mock draft has the kid from Georgia going to them at 29. I could even see Miami pulling off or Greer. So I'll say for me. So I won't say it like I'm thinking for Greer. If I'm sitting there, I might ask McDaniel, listen, do you think we have enough offensively right now to get through this and get this shit really going? If he looks at me in the face and goes, yeah, we're cool. If you want to give me a defensive star, a guy you think could be a star to help the defense out, then yeah, go get me one of those guys too. And I can see Miami calling around and saying, okay, listen, we want to jump back up in the first round this year. We have a first next year and a third this year that we'll give you. So you take one of our first from next year. So now you have 2 firsts for next year and you get an extra third round pick this year. But we see this guy and pick 22's coming up. And we think that we've had our eye and we could plug that kid in right now and help this team out. I just don't think they're done dealing. I agree with you. The biggest noise of the offseason has been Tariq Hill. Over Brady coming back and over Aaron Rodgers deciding to stay in Green Bay. It's been Tariq because he's the league's most dangerous weapon. And Kansas City just went to 2 Super Bowls, just gone to 4 straight conference championship games. They were supposed to be putting together this dynasty, and now over these last 4 years, Super Bowl wise, we're looking at you're 1-3. Like you won your one, you got to another one and lost. And then 2 other years, you lost in the conference championship game, and you lost both those conference championship games in Arrowhead. Like, think about that. No one's mentioned they lost both but sandwiched between the 2 Super Bowl runs, they lost 2 conference championship games in Arrowhead. They're getting beat at home. So that move just sent shockwaves through the league, and they're like, yeah, Miami. But the Tariq deal, it went like this, in my opinion. They looked at the board. We need a game breaker on offense now. I don't see anybody 29, and I don't think we can move up far enough to get Williams or get Michi from Alabama with the speed we're looking for. And at 52, he damn sure ain't sitting there. So, yeah, I'll give up both them picks if you say I can have that guy. I think quietly, and this is nothing I heard, but the fact that the Deebo Samuels talks are breaking down, or I have broken down his reports, say in San Francisco for that extension, I honestly believe Miami was quietly talking to them and trying to figure out if they could bring, if he can, I mean, who else will Mike McDonald want, right? A guy that he's used, who we saw go tear your Cowboys a new ass, who made all the plays in the Green Bay game and told to keep drives going, made all the plays in the Green Bay playoff game and tore their ass, and then tore everybody's ass all season long. Mm-hmm. And then when the Tariq deal came, it was like, oh wow, they want to trade him. We're trying to convince San Francisco, but they want to trade him because now that these talks are breaking down with Samuel, and I'm thinking, wow, man, Jets have mentioned they were trying to get in on calling to see, hey, blah blah. We know they were in on the Tariq thing and the Jets and DK Metcalf. That was another story that I saw come out from somebody that I trust. They were like, no, the Jets were calling Seattle about DK. Once they saw Seattle unloading, they were trying to call them about DK. But the Tariq Hill move just sent shockwaves through. And I agree with you. Biggest move this offseason, but it's still the center of that line, man. Your Cowboys really quick, man, because I know you're a big Cowboy fan. Your Cowboys really quick, though. They still confuse me. I don't understand why you moved Cooper. People want to talk about the injury or whatever, but yeah, dude, he almost had broken ribs early in the year, but he still played through them. Your running game, and I said this plenty of times before, man, and I've been on record, I just don't trust Zeke when you gave him the money. He doesn't seem like a guy to me that wants to be the best running back. He seems like he just kind of wants his money and be a superstar and kind of clown around and shit. He doesn't run as hard. I'm watching the games. He doesn't run as hard. He doesn't lean like he used to. He got his bread. I.e. Todd Gurley. Just go look at I.e. Alvin Kamara. He didn't look like the same guy. I know he has some explosive games, guys, but he didn't. Just go put the tape on and watch him run. He just kind of looked a little different once you gave him his money. Then you let Cedric Wilson get out of there. You lose a lineman, and defense played great. You guys had the Dolphins defense 2 years ago. You led the league in turnovers. That's the thing. Turnover differential, and you ran a lot of them back for touchdown. We had like 6 defensive touchdowns. The defense just went off. I don't know if they can replicate that and duplicate it again, but I think your division's winnable. I love Jalen Hurts, so I pull for him, but the Giants are shit. The Skins are shit. Carson Wentz, and I'm out on him. Everybody else can keep trying to give this guy chances. I stuck with him for a while. I'm out on him, man. But what's Dallas doing? I don't think they got better. Maurice for real, man.
They didn't get better. And that's the problem. Okay. Is like, but here's the thing.
I appreciate the realness. The realness.
They didn't get better. I mean, how do you get rid of some of your key guys? Don't replace them with somebody close to the talent and say, yeah, we made these moves and got better. Like, we don't have a replacement. We went and got James Washington at wide receiver. Come on now. Seriously. Like, we got rid of Amari Cooper and we signed Michael Gallup, which I'm fine with bringing Gallup back. You couldn't get rid of both.
Even off the injury?
Yeah, because we didn't pay too high for him. He was going, had he not got hurt, he was going to cost you $18 million at least. He was getting a Christian Kirk deal at least had he not got hurt. But because he got hurt, we kept him for what I think $11 or $12 million a year. I'm cool with that. Like, he's probably not going to play first half of the season. That's all good though. But you got rid of a couple linemen. You brought in, I like the Dante Fowler Jr. signing. I do like that. We got a guy who's familiar in Dan Quinn's defense. But when you look at Dallas, they're not better today, but it's what everybody said 3 years ago when they went to go pay Zeke, when they traded for Amari Cooper, knowing they were going to have to pay for him. When Dak was playing good, he was playing really good. He's been a really good quarterback. Has he been great? No, he's been really good. You knew you were going to have to pay him, and his price tag only went up. And when Dak was willing to play for them $33 million, and we didn't get, that was too much. We wanted 30, he wanted 33. Now we had to pay him at 40. So I think with Dallas, they're paying the price for prior moves. And that's kind of what everybody has to do, right? Like Devontae Adams is out because Aaron Rodgers took his bag. I mean, I'm sure there were other things. Some people say Devontae Adams just wanted to play with Derek Carr, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers got his bag, and now your Valdez Scantling didn't come back. Your best receiver is Alan Lazard.
I think that has something to do with it. I'll let you run I don't think I think that has something to do with it. I think Devontae Parker, he has to gain some respect for me because I think saying that, I just want to change the scenery. I just want to go play with my former teammate, a guy I work out with in the offseason. Our kids play with each other. Our wives sit by the pool and, eating cucumber sandwiches and drinking tummy flat tea together. I think that was smart because he didn't want to leave looking greedy or looking like the villain when people should be looking. When Aaron got that deal, I went on air and I said, how are they going to pay Devontae? He already said he's not playing on the franchise. He already said he'd be pissed. He didn't say it. He said, I'll be pissed if they franchise me. Like, I'm doing every damn thing. And I get it's a business, but it's a business to him too. So I think that was just the respectful, classy thing to say. But I truly deep inside think that when he saw that contract, he said, "You got to be kidding me, man."
I think he was upset with Aaron.
I'm your best damn weapon and asset. You took all that bread knowing they weren't going to be able to pay. Just give me 21, I think it was 21 or 22 million for 1 year. And then what? Now I got to go back on the market again. And the point that you're saying, they couldn't pay Valdez-Scantling. That's the reason why he left. So kudos to you, Davante Adams. If you ever see this, sir, very classy. I saw what you did. But I know how you feel, bro. Go ahead, Maurice.
And it's the fact with that why I was upset with Rodgers is because, like, you haven't won anything as of late, and you made sure your plate was full and didn't worry about your man's plate. Like, and I get not everybody gonna have that everybody eats, but you made sure that you got the full course meal, you know, the dessert in the top-notch, top shelf bottle. And you're like, if we have room for Davante Adams, then, you know, he'll get fed too, but you're going to feed me first. And that's not how you win. Like, when you think about it, that's just not how you win. And so Aaron Rodgers kind of prioritized himself. And I don't blame him for that. That's okay. But that's supposed to be a man, though. Like, that is supposed to be a man. And you know that's your only weapon. Like, Aaron Jones is cool. Like, he's cool. But running back, I could replace Aaron Jones in a week, to be honest. But
they already have.
Yeah, like, you can replace a running back, right?
That's why they drafted Dillon.
Yeah, you got AJ Dillon sitting back there. So, like, you can replace a running back. That's the most replaceable position in the NFL at this point. But then you look at, and you know what screwed the whole NFL offseason? Christian Kirk getting $18 million. Because everybody's price went up when Christian Kirk got $18 million. The Chiefs were close to an extension with Tyreek Hill. The Packers were close to an extension with Davante Adams. Michael Gallup got paid $11 million a year. Nobody cared. It didn't make nobody's price go up. Amari Cooper got cut over $20 million. We feel it. Nobody's price went up. Christian Kirk got $18 million a year, and you supposed to tell Davante Adams he only worth $3 more million a year than Christian Kirk? Like, you supposed to tell Tyreek Hill that I'm not supposed to be asking. I said the minute Christian Kirk got that deal, I said Adams and Hill's price just went to 25 at least.
Yeah,
they at least getting 25. And so once Kirk signed that deal, it changed everything. And now we're talking about this is a domino effect for over the next couple of years. We're talking about, what if Terry McLaurin gets traded because his price goes up? What if A.J. Brown ends up out of there because his price goes up?
They'll pay Brown, and they'll pay both those guys. Both those guys will get their deal from their current
their price is at least 25.
It doesn't matter.
It's not that they won't, but I'm saying it's at least, like, the price went up for everybody. And so that's all thanks to Christian Kirk. Your team's fourth best receiver got $18 million a year.
Well,
you give me at least 25.
Well, all these quarterbacks out now, they need to be thanking Sam Bradford. Remember, he was the last number 1 overall pick that got that big money. And a lot of vets are like, hold on, man. How y'all giving this kid this money? Y'all keep giving these first-round draft picks all this money. We here doing it. Then they changed the rule, but it was because he got like $66 guaranteed million back then. And people were like, he hasn't thrown a football. He hasn't thrown a football yet. And it set the market for all the veteran quarterbacks.
Now you could bargain with your first round pick. There wasn't a set. Exactly. It wasn't a set for, first round drafted here, and here.
Which I agree. That's how it should be the way it is now. You're a rookie. Here's your 4-year deal. Now we can talk in 2 years. If you come in the league whooping that, you guys are going to have to pay Mika next year if he has another season like he just had. Because Mika's going to say, hey, look, man. Okay, let's say first 2 years in the league, let's say 26 sacks. What do you have last year? 12, 13? Let's say let's say he tacks on another 14. 27 sacks my first 2 years, guys. Hey, let's go. I'm not playing. I've outplayed this rookie money. I've outplayed this money.
Yep.
Jerry, come on now. Diggs, come on now.
Yep.
Come on now.
The NBA has changed, I think, the NFL when it comes to business for players, because like the NBA players, they were getting theirs, right? And if they weren't getting theirs, they was out. And it was just that simple, where like the NFL, the players didn't really have that mentality. It was like, I guess, pride. We're going to get paid based on performance, but we get paid when our time comes. And now all these other players like, no, Like, no, if you're not going to pay me, I'm gone. If you're not going to pay me, trade me. I'm not going to play. Devontae Adams said, I'm not going to play on this franchise tag. No. I don't want an unhappy Tyreek Hill in a system. I don't want this. I don't want that. Russell Wilson's like, I will no longer play for this sorry-ass offensive line. Get me on up out of here. You know, but it's just, that's how it goes now. Guys are like, they're vocal in the NFL now about getting out. And we kind of were waiting for this point because the NBA been doing this for years. And we could say it's LeBron who pioneered it or whoever. And if you hate it, you could blame LeBron.
I'm not gonna throw. You know me. I'm a very valid and loving LeBron hater. I'm not gonna blame him for that.
No, but even
it doesn't happen in the NBA. Barkley wanted out of Philly at one point. Allen Iverson wanted out of Philly. Kobe wanted out of LA with the Lakers because the Lakers told him they would do something and they didn't do it. And Kobe put their feet to fire. Like, hold on, bro. You told me when you traded Shaq, I had about a year to deal with this shit. Okay, it's been almost 2 now. Come on now, you came on now. I didn't leave
out of LA. People forget about that, and it's no spite to Kobe, but people talk about Kobe played for the same organization for 20 years. Like, don't forget he had to ask out and say
no. He was going to be a free agent. He didn't ask out.
Yes, it was. He was going to be a free agent.
He was going to be a free agent. He said him and Vanessa had gone to Chicago. They had looked for homes and they had looked at schools. Like, they had interviews with schools. Kobe was on his way.
He was going to be.
He was on his way to Chicago. He said that was real. He said he looked at Chicago and he looked at the Phoenix Suns. That was real. But he was a free Jordan Jr. And here's the thing with the I make a mistake. The following fall, going into that season, he did do the Stephen A. Smith show and then was like, yeah, man, trade me. But I don't think, and this not being a Kobe fan, and if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. I don't think he meant it. I just think he knew he had to say it at that point.
I think he put the pressure on him.
He had come back after looking into free agency. And a lot of people forget too, there was actually a trade deal done to Detroit. He was going to be sent to Detroit for Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, and one more. I think it was Rasheed Wallace. And they were going to team him up with and he was like, no, hell no. Hell, it was Detroit. It was Kobe, like 4 players. And Kobe's like, and I'm a Pistons fan, so I'd have loved it. But I mean, you would have had to make moves again after that to put together a championship team. It wasn't going to just be him and Ben Wallace and Lindsey Hunter.
Yeah,
Will Bynum to win a championship. So, but the players have asked out before in the NFL. It's the market is so this. I don't bitch and complain about contracts, but real quick, let's go to Christian Kirk deal, a team no one's talking about, but they're spending a lot of money. They get Urban Liar out of there. They get all that crap out of there. You're hearing that shit coming out now. He was asking his grandson, who's this guy? This guy is the worst of the, and I've been telling people, he's the worst of the worst type of human beings you could want coaching your football team, high school, college, or pro. The guy's a POS, man. He's not a good human being, people. I don't care what y'all try to say, okay? Let's just call it what it is. We'll leave that alone. But I do look at Jacksonville, okay? I know they're the Jaguars, but you did draft Trevor Lawrence, number 1 overall. You do have Travis Etienne coming back. They have a really good young defense there that kept them in some games. Some games they just got their asses handed to them, but there were some games last week, middle of third quarter, you're like, wow, this game's only 17-13. Jacksonville's hanging. They should be getting their ass. Jacksonville's hanging in there. And then at the end of the year when they got nothing to play for and the Colts have everything to play for, they go beat the Colts in the division game and send them home. So just your thoughts on, no one's talking about Jacksonville, but they've spent a shitload of money and they have bought in some good players.
But I think they spent too much money on the wrong players. I think getting Christian Kirk for that price was absolutely like Christian Kirk isn't better than Michael Gallup. Now I get Gallup's coming off an injury, but Christian Kirk ain't $7 million per year better. Even if you put them on the same stature, $7 million per year better.
You're giving it $1, but you're giving it $1 value, Mo. And when teams, they got to spend it on somebody. And they got to get their prime asset a weapon. They had to get their prime asset a weapon. Their prime asset is Trevor Lawrence. They may see, Richmond and I were just talking about this, right? The coaching staff may look at him and look at because we don't know what they're trying to do, right? Del Rio's in there as a coach. Jack, Del Rio's their coach, right? I've got that correct, right?
No, it's
I'm sorry. No. Peterson.
Yeah.
Peterson's their coach. He's an offensive guy, right? And he could be looking around like, hey guys, just relax. I got this. Okay. It's like same thing's happening in Miami. Just give me what I need. Trust me. Give me. If Christian Kirk wasn't just, we got to sign a guy. He looks at him and goes, yeah, I know what was going on out there. But we can do something with this guy if he's a number one. Listen, your boys think CeeDee Lamb's a number one. I don't. I didn't think that coming out of Oakland. I didn't think that coming out of. We'll see. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll come on air and say I was wrong. But I just don't think that I will. Too many times last year, gets the droppies. Hey, I always watch receivers who get lost in the game and lose interest. That turns me. I played the position. That turns me off so bad, man, because you can't just turn it back on. Once a receiver who's not getting the ball or things aren't going, once he mentally leaves that game that Sunday, he's done for the rest of the. Now he may bounce back the following week or whatever. He has some great games. He has some 2 touchdown games, some big play, but just too many in a playoff loss at home, 1 catch. I need you to get open, homie. And Cooper, there's no Gallup, and Cooper is hurt. You gotta be that dude. And just on that day he went. But back to Jacksonville. I think Peterson, offensive guy, looks around. I got this young stud who people rated up there with John Elway as NFL prospects, and John Elway scored the highest ever as a can't miss NFL prospect quarterback. Him, Manning, Luck. I think those are like the 3 highest, if I'm not mistaken. Coming out of college, dude, these guys they're not gonna suck. Trust me. And all the 3 of those guys are going to the Hall of Fame. Well, Peyton's already in, I believe it. Elway's in, and they'll probably put Luck in. I think it'll be more sympathy. But if you look at his 9-10 years, you go, I mean, shit, he was the reason why they were competitive every year. Yeah. I think Peterson looks at this Jacksonville team. You bring in a guy like Christian Kirk. I agree with what you're saying as far as the dollar goes, but I just go, okay, dude, yeah, I'll answer your question. No, he's not $7 million better, but that's what the Jacksonville Jaguars had to pay. That's what they thought they needed to put on the table to get that guy there, and they do that because someone in that offensive room goes, bro, get that guy over here. We'll do something. Trust me, we'll do something. We may not have Kyler Murray, but we got tall, 6'5", statuous in the pocket, rated with Elway and Peyton Manning as a can't miss quarterback here.
And he can move. So, that is definitely – it's not like he's not Kyler Murray, but I don't need him to be Kyler Murray, but he can escape that pocket. He's fast enough to get away from the defensive lineman. He's fast, savvy enough to, avoid.
I need him to be Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. But he's you got a guy who's fast enough to get away from most D linemen, savvy enough to avoid linebackers on the outside when he does escape the pocket, and he's got the great enough arm to be an elite quarterback. So, yeah, you did have to get him weapons, and if that's the price you had to pay, to get Christian Kirk, and maybe, like you said, Doug Peterson probably said, I love this guy. I want him over here. He's on the market, and if that's what it's going to cost to guarantee that we don't get in a bargaining war with anybody and we got to overpay, now it's just time, though. Christian Kirk got to produce. That's it. And he ain't got to be a top 5 receiver. I do not expect Christian Kirk to be a top 5 receiver. Like, I know
he's got to be their number 1, though.
Yeah, but he does. He's got to get to that 1,200.
Oh yeah,
7-8 touchdowns. Yeah. Like, I need that from him next year.
I need 13. You being nice.
I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice on. I need 12 in 7 or 8 touchdowns at least.
Okay, I need 1350 and 12 touchdowns, bro. I need you to. But here's the thing.
So you need him to be a top 5 wide receiver. I mean, 1350.
Okay, you know what? Okay, then. You know what? Okay. I need him to be a top 6 or 7 wide receiver. Hell yeah. Dude, listen. I love this thing right here, bro. So I take this shit. I give you the bread for this, bro. You got to come in. And I got you, once again, a can't miss prospect at the QB position. I sat behind Marino. I learned from Don Shula. I won a Super Bowl with Foles. I won one. He can walk in Jacksonville's locker room and go, guys, look, just listen to me. There's a reason why. And guess who I beat for this? Guess who I beat for this? I beat the 2 GOATs. My offense put up 40-plus points on that defensive guru up there in Clam Chowderville, Lobsterland, up there in Brewski Hockey Bruins, Patriots Celtic Racistville, okay? I put 40-plus on him, and I got this, and I got, that's what I need Christian Kirk to be for me, and I think that when you're behind DeAndre and you're a younger receiver coming into the league and you're still learning the offense of the quarterback, or learning with Kyler Murray and learning the Cliff Kingsbury way, you takes a minute, but Christian Kirk has some really, really good moments and has some really good games. Like I said,
he's not a bad wide receiver. I don't think he's bad, and I think he got potential. I just, I don't like paying. I'm just not, and I don't count nobody. I like everybody getting the bag. If that's what somebody gonna go get it. Yeah. But for me, looking like in a GM perspective, I don't like paying on potential. I got to pay on what I know. And if you could potentially get me this, and I it's an investment, right? You're investing. And if I'm paying and I'm like, he may get me that. Like I might invest in when you first invest in Bitcoin, right? And you be like, it could hit, but if it doesn't, I'm down bad if I go all in. And you essentially went all in on Christian Kirk. And if he doesn't play great, that's not even a tradable contract. Ain't nobody trading for Christian Kirk at no $18 million. Like you locked him in for what, at least 2 years before it could be a cuttable contract. So I mean, I'm just saying I don't hate the move, but because it had to be made, but it did, and it did reset the market. That was a resetting market, even though he wasn't the highest paid wide receiver, with guys whose money is coming up, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams. You know what I'm saying?
Tyreek Hill is the highest paid receiver in NFL history. Now, Miami gave him the bag. Yeah.
He got what, 30, right? And Devontae Adams got 28 and a half. Yeah. But I think that Christian Kirk deal made their price go up, where I thought they were going to at least get 25. Like, hey, I'm at least getting 25 if Kirk getting 18. Yeah. And obviously they both exceeded that. And rightfully so for those guys, though. Like, some people were mad at, you don't pay wide receivers. I'm like, look, bro, if there's some wide receivers I'm going to pay, it's going to be Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, listen, if you in today's league, and this is why I love football, because football is the sport that can evolve but still stay the same, like baseball. Baseball can evolve if they just take their head out of their ass, and it's not going to change the game. It's still going to be a beautiful. I'm a huge baseball fan, man. Y'all say I got my football in my bed. I keep a bat, bro. I still go to the batting cages. I'm a sportsman for real, okay? I don't just get on air and talk this shit. If they took their head out of their ass, the game will still be pure, still be a beautiful game. The football is the same way because things can evolve, and it's still, you got to block, you got to tackle, you got to wrap up, you got to lead with your shoulder, you got to get off the coverage, you got to press, you got to, and none of that changes. Just some of the semantics and some of the variables around the game. So if you can get a receiver that can take you over the top now, you pay what you have to pay now. Any of these teams can eat these. Like, for instance, I'm looking at some of these contracts. Like, okay, the Armstead deal for the Dolphins, 5 years, $75 million. They give him $30 million the minute he puts the John Hancock on. Okay, the total guarantee over it is $43.4. So there's only 13 more guaranteed $1 million that he can guarantee himself that he's going to make over this 5-year deal. Does he play the 5 years? I don't know. He's 30 years old. You tell him he's paying the 35. That's fine. Miami can opt out in the third year, though, where he's due $46 million. They're not going to pay him that $46 million, especially if by some grace of the football gods, they get to a bowl in the next 2 years and they win one. They will look at him and go, nah, bro, there's another free agent that wants to come in that's 26 because we're a winning franchise now, and we got a first-round pick. We're looking at alignments, so maybe we got 2 because they seem to have 2 every year the way Greer's dealing, like he's a poker man up there, man. So I look at some of these contracts, and I say, okay, we look at that big number, and it's like, bro, they're never going to see all of that money.
The language of the contracts is what people don't
pay.
Yeah,
you look at the first 2 years of the deal, and that's what really they're paying. The first 2 years, the guarantee money, that's why some of these deals are guaranteed. Like Connor Williams, 8.53 guaranteed over the lifetime of the contract. His signing bonus was the same amount. So they basically said, look, here's a 2-year deal. Here's 8.5 now. That's all the guarantee you're going to get. Everything else is going to be salary based and year-to-year based. Oh, by the way, we can opt out. We can opt out ourselves after this year. So if you don't work out as a young new tackle guard coming in our system, we're opting out. But here's $8.5 million. You weren't going to get that in Dallas. You weren't going to get that from anybody else. But it looks like, 2 years, $14 million. Nah, it's really just about $8 million is what he's going to, 8, 9 million, 10 million is what he's going to. He's not going to see the whole 14. So I just think if you could get a receiver now, you can get a game breaker, a running back. Like, think about it. Saquon Barkley name was out there, right? You hear anything big about it? No. You're coming off an injury. You're young, but, I told people coming out of Penn State, I just saw Kajana Carter all over again. I'm old enough to remember it. I just saw Kajana Carter, and people told me after this rookie year, you owe that man an apology. You owe that. And I said, all right, we'll see. He busted his rookie year. We'll see. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But the following year, I know he gets hurt, but he comes back last year, not the same guy again, man. Kajana Carter, nice rookie year, 1,000 yards from Cincinnati. Second year gets hurt, comes back third year, never the same again. I go by
Cadillac Williams. Like for me, the story that Cadillac Williams.
And Ronnie Brown it showed Ronnie Brown was really the better running back.
Yeah, Cadillac Williams came out his rookie year, went crazy, right? He ran for over 1,000 yards.
1,200 yards for Tampa.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to be the best running back they had since Warwick Dunn. Obviously, Mike Allstott was the fullback, but like, it's promising. And then boom, like he get injured, and it's like he's a forgotten name now. It's not even. It was like he had a really good. He's a forgotten name. Like you bring back Cadillac Williams, and people be like, "Oh man, I remember the two-back system in Auburn." Like, what he did his rookie year in Tampa. It's the two-back system that they had running the Wildcat with Ronnie Brown and Cadillac Williams back there in Auburn. So, and I said when Saquon Barkley came out, and I know I evaluate things a little bit different, especially when you play in the Big Ten. So I really get to see you. You know, we Big Ten guys, so we really get to see you.
Absolutely. Every Saturday.
2 to 3 games, I watch you play. So when you're an Ohio State player, I want to see how you play against Michigan, Michigan State, and Penn State. And if you're a D lineman, I want to see how you match up against Wisconsin. When you play for Penn State, I want to see how you play against Ohio State, Michigan, and Michigan State. And then if you're, vice versa. And he had one play against Ohio State. And I saw that with Monty Ball in Wisconsin. I saw that with Melvin Gordon in Wisconsin. I've seen all these great running backs come through, but when they get them 2 to 3 matchups in the Big Ten with real NFL talent on that defensive side of the ball, they beat up, put absolutely insane numbers on all the little guys on your Nebraska and Minnesota and whatever. But when it come down to them big dogs, them blue bloods, in the Big Ten that you're seeing every year that they got 3 first-round picks over there. They got 5 guys going to the league next year. They got another guy going to the league in 2 years when he's eligible. When you don't play great against them, I question what's going to happen to you in the NFL, and that's how I felt against Saquon Barkley. Outside of that one big run against Ohio State, I was like, he just played a defense with elite NFL talent, and he wasn't able to get his. I know he'll go to the NFL, but to take him in top 5, that was a questionable pick for me. 1, he's a running back, but 2, like I've seen what happens when he plays against elite defenses. And if you think Ohio State defense at that time was elite, what do you think you about to see in the NFL? Like you about to cut out any of the guys that don't belong on the field in that game, and you about to put all of them and veterans. Like you about to put those guys what they would look like 8 years from now, and that's what you're about to play against every Sunday. So that is how I felt about Saquon Barkley, and then it's just unfortunate that he got hurt. On top of that, not being able to bounce back, like people ain't gonna pay a high price for Saquon Barkley. Like he not gonna get a bag. He got hurt. You can't, as a running back, you can't get hurt before you get the bag. At least Zeke.
No, he's not getting the bag.
Yeah, Zeke got the bag, got hurt. Todd Gurley got the bag, got hurt. But you got your bag. You're only gonna, as a running back, you're only gonna get one big contract. You're gonna get your rookie deal, which if you're a first round pick, big time, and then you're gonna get that big extension if you're a top 5 back. Outside of that, you're going to be trying to find your way the rest of your career and hope that somebody will kind of overpay you, especially in today's NFL where the value of the running back isn't as high as it once was. You don't win games on the back of your running back, essentially, anymore in today's NFL. It's about that pass game and that quarterback.
Well, I'm looking at the Christian Kirk. I wanted to look up his contract too. It's the $37 million, 18. It's 37 was the signing bonus. They gave him all his guaranteed money up front. The total guaranteed dollars is $37 million, and the guaranteed money at signing was $37 million. His cap was only 7.5. They can get out in the second year. Second year is owed $39 million. So I think that's why the deal was so. I think it makes sense to me. They're not locked into this thing long term, man. They can get out of this thing at 39. No one's going to trade for him. You're right, at 39 million. So that's why I like that move. Some of the other free agent things I also look at here. Allen Robinson. Now, everybody got really excited about this move, and I'm like, yeah, man, he turns 29 this year. He's almost close to 30. I mean, does the guy really love football? I question that because all I ever saw him do was just complain while he was with the Bears. He had a season and a half of good production. It was never great. We're talking about Christian Kirk's numbers where he needs to be. Where was Allen Robinson's consistency? The Rams go after him. I kind of hate the way they did my man, Robert Woods. Robert Woods is a SoCal kid, man. Went to JC high school out here, went to USC. I kind of hate the way they did Woods and traded him off to, I believe, Tennessee is where he's at now. But I'm not sure about this. Talk to me about this Allen Robinson move. I think people are super excited and gassed up for, but I'm like, does he love football? The money and all that shit don't matter. I want to know if the kid loves football, because if you love football, things may not be going so right, Chicago, but you still suit up and play. If you love football, if I was in a combine as a GM, I'm not asking about your family and stuff. I would sit a guy down. If I was talking to Mo Murphy, listen, Mo, I want to get to your family and stuff, man. We'll find stuff out if it happens, because you can sit here and tell me all the great stuff now, and maybe something happens with a family member that wasn't happening in college down the line. So I don't think those questions mean anything. So everything I'm going to ask you today is about how much you love the game of football and what the game of football means to you. Because at the end of the day, this is going to be your job. This is going to be your life. We're going to figure out whether football is a hobby for you and you're using it as a vessel to get to other things, or is this right here your life? If this is your life, is this everything to you? So that's what the questions are going to consist of today. That's fine. We'll stay away from the family and all that other crap. I mean, I've taught the guys' families were perfect. Next thing you know, they're hanging out with a cousin they haven't seen in 10 years. They get to a car, they get pulled over. Cousin got a gun and weed in the car. It happens, okay? So if that stuff come across, we'll get to it then. I want to talk to you about football. And Allen Robinson, I'm trying to figure out. It's like DK Metcalf. Do you love football? Odell Beckham. There's an example right there. Did you love football, or did you love what football could do for you? Because I've talked to veteran players, former NBA guys, every pro sport. I've met a guy, and I always ask certain questions. Who's the funniest? Who's your favorite teammate? Who is an underrated funny guy in the locker room? Who's an underrated, just a regular dude, didn't care about the stardom and all that? And I just want to hear what the answers are. Like, for instance, when my nephew played in the NBA, I asked him, who was the clown? Who was the joke around guy, man? Who was the guy you would look at and go, damn, man, I didn't think he was like that. He told me it was Luis Scola. When he played in Phoenix, he played with Luis Scola. And he said Luis Scola would always have his kids at the shoot-around. He's got 4 sons. Said all the sons be at the shoot-around. Little kids, 3, 6, 7, 9, all at the shoot-around. And they said he was the most frugal guy. I don't like using the word cheap. He was the most frugal guy on the team. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, when we would get our per diem money, they said he'd be the guy in the line going, yes, give me my money to eat. And this is a guy who's making $14 million, but that per diem money, where he says some guys don't even use the per diem money. I said, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, there's dudes $80, $90 million contracts on the team. They don't use the per diem money, man. That stuff stacks up in their glove compartment. Those little tickets, that stacks up and they don't use that shit because they make so much money. So I always like to ask those questions. And one question I also ask too is, how many guys, I won't give you names, how many percentage of guys do you know really played for the love and really played because it was a vessel to something else? And I had one NFL former player tell me he played with about 10% of the guys in his whole 11-year career, 10% who played for the game of football. When you hear that, I'm like, are you? He goes, yeah, man. He goes, trust me. Guys will get out there and play because you love to play. But there's a difference in loving to play and then loving the game. You love the game, and that means you're going to put everything. If you love to play, you'll just be in good enough shape to play. Shaq, right? Shaq, right? Once Shaq got his MVP and got his first championship, Shaq always said, I'll be ready when I need to be ready. I got hurt on company time, so I'm going to rehab on company time. And why Kobe's like, yeah, while I'm at UCLA working out 8 hours a damn day in the offseason. Shaq said, I was back in Orlando, my uncle in the pool, eating burgers, drinking pina colada. But he was so enforcing, he could do that. Allen Robinson seems like a guy to me, man, that I'm not sure if he loves the game. Your thoughts on that move with the Rams?
It was weird because I just figured, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods coming back off ACL, bring back Odell Beckham. I thought it was that simple, so it was surprising because I'm like, well, why would they go pay Allen Robinson? Why pay him any type of money when you had a nucleus? Then you got Van Jefferson. Yep. So like while you're waiting on Robert Woods,
Tyler Higbee,
then you and Tutu Atwell, who I know has been like used as like a special teams guy, but like you can see what you got in him. You have Cooper Kupp, who's a top 5 wide receiver, easily, no questions asked. And Van Jefferson could be your wide receiver too temporarily while you're waiting for Odell, who's going to come back a lot later than Robert Woods. So I just thought like, okay, for what? And then you mentioned him loving football. It doesn't seem like he does, right? Like he was in Jacksonville, had a good season and a half, kind of phased out. Boom, goes, maybe it's his circumstance. Goes to get the bag, gets a nice little bag in Chicago. Then you're like, okay, he played really well. People in fantasy football loved Allen Robinson. He probably, was a guy for one season who might have been the difference in why they won the championship. He was a steal in their fantasy football draft, right? You know all too well about fantasy football. Like sometimes you only know certain guys' numbers, not you, but fantasy footballers, they only look at them from a fantasy value. So they're like, man, Allen Robinson's great. Oh my God. Like, I don't even know football like that. I just remember, bro, he went crazy.
I hate those guys. I hate those guys.
That's how it be. Like that. That's really how they evaluate how talented you are, is what you did for them in fantasy football the year before. And so last year he didn't really. And my thing is, you had a young quarterback who's uber talented. You had a bad offensive line, and you could have been the difference on helping elevate your young quarterback at Justin Fields. And every week, it just seemed like you didn't want to be out there. I understand. You went through a lot of rough patches last year in that offense, and you felt like Matt Nagy wasn't, they probably felt like he wasn't the guy. Obviously, they got rid of him and brought a new guy in, but as a veteran receiver, he didn't act like a veteran receiver. He acted like a guy on a rookie contract. Like, you're crying because your quarterback's not getting the ball. Well, yeah, he's under duress, but like, what can you do to help elevate? And to get paid $17 million, $18 million a year, whatever he got paid, 3 years, 40 something. So I think it was around 17. Well, I'm asking you to be a guy to help elevate your quarterback. Like, be the guy the go-to when the going gets tough. When he has nobody to throw to, you should be the guy he could throw to. And I just don't know if Allen Robinson can be that guy. And I think a lot of people love it because of Matt Stafford. I think Matt Stafford, if this deal pans out, it will be because he's playing alongside Matt Stafford. He won't be wide receiver one. It is Cooper Kupp. But I just felt like it was a move that it wasn't necessary. And then it was like, well, damn, they didn't gave up all their draft picks. How much money they got? Like, yeah. And when they signed Allen Robinson, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I tell everybody every year, they always tell me what team is in cap hell and this and that. I said, well, the salary cap don't exist. I said, you know why? Because every team figure out how to sign free agents. I don't care how much money they got. Yeah. They make moves. They put it in guaranteed money so it ain't cap hits on this. I was like, salary cap, essentially, it's there as a number to keep it fair, but it doesn't exist because as we're learning over the past couple of years, I think you've seen it now more than ever. Just give them the money up front where, okay, they got $40 million today. Oh, man, we paid them. But that's owner's pocket. That's coming out the owner's pocket. And they're only going, like you said, with Christian Kirk, $7 million. It's only $7 million against the cap. That's how that we have all this cap space. So I think that's what they're going to do with Allen Robinson. And I think, to me, he could get cut after this year, if you want me to be honest. If he don't do absolutely nothing, playing with Matt Stafford, that good offensive, the reigning Super Bowl champs, if he doesn't produce, I think he'd be cut after this year. Like, you don't have Robert Woods to threaten you when he comes back. I don't know if they're going to end up bringing back Odell Beckham. He's still out there. There's been talks that they'd love to have him back, and I still wonder how they got.
I don't buy it.
I think if they wanted Odell Beckham back, I think he'd be back by now.
He'd be back already. Yeah.
You wouldn't let him hit the market. You wouldn't let him entertain anybody else if you really wanted him back, especially coming off ACL. You can, whatever. But I don't love the move, but I guess we'll see. Like, to me, it's like, I don't love it. I didn't have it surprised me that they got him, but for me, it's just like, I guess we'll see. Like, does he bounce back? Does he play really well? Or is he just going to be an average receiver that he typically ends out at the end of his Jaguars tenure, the end of his Chicago tenure? He just ended up being an average wide receiver. So if you think that you're going to get that at any point this year, you pay $17 million for a guy that could be average. That's a lot of money for an average wide receiver. So for me, it doesn't move the needle for me on how I think about the Rams. So it's just like, when he signed, I'm like, we'll see. I guess we'll see. That could be really good if we get the best version of Allen Robinson. But like you said, what if we get the guy who Cooper Kupp's getting all the attention, he getting all these passes thrown, and it's not like grind and keep getting open. My time will come eventually because I love this game and I'm going to do everything I can to be great at it. Just like, man, I got the bag, whatever. Like, I don't even care about this Sunday because like you said, once the receiver's checked out in the middle of the game, you're not getting the best version of that guy at least until the next week, hopefully.
Here's the best versions of him. 2015, 80 catches, 1,400 yards, 17.5, 14 touchdowns. Here's his touchdown since then. 6.04761.
Average
his yards. He had two in 2020. He had 102 catches for 1,200 yards at 12-3, but only 6 touchdowns along of 42. He's not a big play guy. In Jacksonville, he had a 90-yard touchdown reception. Everything after that is under 50 yards, so he's not breaking any big plays from you. 2019, 98 catches, but only 1,100 yards at 11 and a half and only 7 touchdowns. He doesn't score enough. Last year, didn't play all season long. We know he's banged up. He was hurt or what have you, and then decided out. But, his years in Chicago, 754, 1,100, 1,200, 410. So if you want the best version, to go back to what you said, you want the first version of the catches, you need the 2020. If you want the best version and everything else, you need 2015. That's 8 years ago, because going into this year will be 2022, 2023. So that's 7-8 years ago. So your best version of Allen Robinson is going to have to be 7-8 years ago. And that's I don't know. I don't know if I can. I don't know if that's there. I don't know if that's there. And I'm only going off of what you said. Ladarius Smith was another one I thought was a big move that I don't think a lot of people are talking about. Green Bay's just unloading every damn thing. Aaron Rodgers just took all the money from there. I think Ladarius Smith is using this to be able to get at Green Bay twice a year. I like the move there. J.C. Jackson was just another one no one's talking about. A lockdown, corner. 26 years old, coming over 5 years, $82.5 million, 16.5 on the average. But once again, guaranteed total dollars, $40 million. Guaranteed total dollars signing, $40 million. So they gave him his $40 million up front. They can get out of this deal after year 3. In year 3, it goes to $54.3 million. They'll never make that money in that contract. $53 million in 1 year for a corner. I don't care what the market says. J.C. Jackson will be 28 years old, and they'll be saying, well, he's creeping towards 30. So that 30 seems to be the mark. Chandler Jones, I love that move too for the Raiders. Raiders look dangerous, man. I tell you, if you think about all the shit they went through last year,
to still make the playoffs
was still be able to make the playoffs, and then to kind of load back up this year. All to talk about is Carr the guy. And listen, I guess I can say I was wrong. I guess I can come out and say I was wrong now, because 2 years ago I thought they would be out on Carr by now. I didn't think Carr was their guy. I thought Mike Mayock and Gruden had to say all the right things, and they did. And that's how I positioned them. When people were like, oh, they believe him. I'm like, no, they don't, dude. They got to say that shit. So I'll be the first to admit, Sage was a guy I talked to about that many times. I was wrong, because I guess Josh McDaniels looks at him. Hey, we said this about coaches earlier in the show, right? Then McDaniels looks at him and goes, nah, man, are you kidding me? I can win with this guy. And I got a running back, and I got one of the best tight ends, if not the best tight end. Depends on whether you're Kelsey, Kittle, Walker, or Andrews, right? Those are the top 4 guys in the league. So, but anybody can say any of those guys are number 1, and you can argue it, but it doesn't mean that guy's wrong. If I say Andrews the best tight end in football right now, you can argue, but it doesn't mean I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I have that. And then we get Devontae Adams. I look at that division, man. It's sick. Another team, I'm trying to figure out what the hell they're doing. We talked a little bit with Saquon, but the Giants, it's like at some point you have to know you have to hit the reset button. This isn't a MacGyver job, patch it up, fix it with some bubble gum and some aluminum foil, a paper clip, and some duct tape. You might got to break this damn thing down. You held on to Eli too long. The Eagles, I'm just running through teams, and I'll let you just pick whatever team you want to jump piggyback on and go. The Eagles, I love Jalen Hurts, but they're rebuilding. They got some stuff to do. Remember, they ain't cut Fletcher clocks. And then the deal was like, yeah, they released him, but they released him to redo the deal because his contract wasn't workable for us to redo it. We just needed to do a whole new deal, but they only bring him back for 1 year. So they're looking towards the future. Matt Ryan, why aren't we talking more about this room? I think that move, that thing's ready-made. Jonathan Taylor, Pittman, the tight end, the young defense, and the Texans twice, the Jags twice, and the Titans twice. You can say, well, the Titans, yeah, bro, come on, man. Don't talk to me about the Titans. Ryan Tannehill's their quarterback. And we've already seen a lower extremity injury from Derrick Henry. He'll never be the same back again, guys. 1,500 yards. Yeah, he's still big and vicious enough. Plus, they're going to feed him 380 carries. They're going to feed him Dave Wannstedt, Ricky Williams style, okay? They're going to feed him 390, 395 if he plays all 17 games. So I like what they've done there. Still trying to figure out what's going on in San Francisco. I think everybody is in San Francisco. Garoppolo is supposed to be out of there by now, right? But the market dried up quick. Everybody made moves. Baker Mayfield, where's Baker going to end up? They can't have him there. They can't have him there for OTAs or anything. They need to figure out where he's going. Seattle needs a quarterback. Carolina needs a quarterback. The Saints have settled on Jameis Winston. They bring in Andy Dalton today as the backup. Thank God. Take Tim Tebow 2.0, Taysom Hill's ass, and put him in damn tight end or something. Stop trying to make this man a damn quarterback. Let Jameis have that. Jameis has worked hard, man. Let my man, a.k.a. Crab Legs, have that there. Number 1 overall pick. Number 1 kid recruit coming out of Hoover, Alabama, and won a national championship in the Heisman. So the kid could play the position there. We know what Tampa's going to be. They bring Tom back, so we already know what's going on there. I mentioned Carolina, I mentioned the Saints. I'm just trying to make sure I hit all the teams. Patriots. I think the Patriots, it's starting. It's starting. Last year, I think they backed into the playoffs. Okay, let's get real. Like Pittsburgh, they backed in and then got their ass smacked once they got in. And it showed they had no business and no shot at being there. Kraft comes out today. I'm upset. We haven't won a playoff game in 3 years. Is the armor starting to chink between him and Bill? Because he said, I thought we had a good draft, which you have to have, in order to build a franchise. But Bill's never really used they drafted some guys, but then they've also played on some veterans and bringing in some free agent guys. You bring in Stephon Gilmore. At one point, they brought in Darrelle Revis. They brought in Randy Moss. They've gone out and brought. Last year they spent more money than anybody in free agency. Bill's not looking at the draft. Bill's like, no, I ain't got time for that. We did that shit with McGinnis and Brewski and Ty Law and all those guys and Richard and Seymour and Wolfo. We drafted all those guys, and we were able to ride that way for about 10 to 12 years. And then we had to start bringing in the Corey Dillon, bringing in not Leonard Fournette, Garrett, the guy that punched the guy from Boise State in college for showboating in front of him. And man, if that wasn't the most hoodish, excuse me, I gotta say this, man, because I'm free on my show. Nigga is damn shit I ever seen in football game. For him to back up and steal him because he was in his face, it's like, bro, come on, man. God, you just ruined your career. Did got himself a Super Bowl ring. But when I look at that, I'm like, they could be going down. You hear about these trade things possibly for Stephon Diggs might want out of Buffalo. So there's a lot going on, man. I ran through a lot of teams there. I'll let you run, man, to end your segment here, man. I'll let you just pick some teams, some stuff. Just, free agency, things coming up this year, things that you see. We've touched on our teams, but the Colts, right? With Matty Ice, Pittman, Taylor, Frank Wright, offensive-minded coach, a division that can be had, was a game from the playoffs last year. We're not talking a lot. We think Matt Ryan's washed up as if Atlanta was his fault.
Yeah, I think I think he makes the Colts better today. They need another wide receiver, though. They definitely need another.
Okay.
And I think you got to get him in the draft. I mean, I would like Jarvis Landry to go to the Colts. Like, why not? Like, and I know you're not in love, but you need, because you could bring in.
I think he's past his prime, Mo. I do. I think he's past his prime.
But that's okay, because I can bring in Jarvis Landry. I got Pittman Jr. and I could draft another wide receiver. This is a wide receiver deep draft. Like, I could make my offense very explosive for a really good quarterback very quick. Jonathan Taylor's still young. Like, I still could get a lot out of Jonathan Taylor. I have a top 5 offensive line, if not the best offensive line in football. I got a great offensive-minded coach, and I upgraded at quarterback. So I think the Colts made the right move bringing in Matt Ryan. And then when I want to touch on something real quick that you said about the Patriots. Could this be the decline? I think so. You want me to tell you why? Because like you said, all that money they spent all that money on the defensive end. Best offensive player they brought in was Nelson Aguilar. You don't have Tom Brady anymore. What'd you say about Trevor Lawrence? You know what I'm saying? They had to go get Christian Kirk because you have a young guy that you think is your guy at quarterback. And so what do you got to do? You got to get him help. And the Patriots ain't getting him no help. Who is Mac Jones supposed to throw the ball to? I don't know if he's any more than a dink and dunk and maybe a big play here or there guy. Yeah, he played really well throughout times, but you also seen him struggle because he doesn't have a weapon. That matters. Like, Tom Brady got up out of there because you weren't getting them weapons, and he got tired of trying to elevate the team when it's like, okay, once they lost to Tennessee, it was like, all right, as great as I am, I need something. I'm not even asking for the world. Don't get me 3 $20 million wide receivers. Can you get me one that's worth about 15? Like, get me something better than what I got. I know I got Wes Welker. I know I got Gronk, but like, Wes Welker's aging. Gronk is aging. They tried to trade him, a couple of years
Edelman. They had Edelman after West was worse at first.
Edelman.
I got your back, homie. I got your back, homie.
But then Gronk, like there was a point where they were going to trade Gronk. He was going to get traded to the Lions, and he was like, "Bro, I will retire. I'm not going to Detroit." So okay, all is well. I'm sure that was against Tom Brady's wishes in the first place. Like, how you going to trade essentially my only weapon? I got Edelman, I got Gronk, and you going to get rid of one of them? I already need more weapons, and that's what you're going to do.
They tried to trade his ass to Detroit. Gronk was like, "What do you mean?"
And he was like,
"I'm retired. I'm
going to retire, bro. Don't do that. Like, I don't want a couple Super Bowls. Don't send me to Detroit. Like, if you going to trade me and I want to keep playing, at least send me somewhere, adequable, like not freaking Detroit. Like, you tried to trade one of the greatest tight ends of all time to Detroit. How disrespectful is that? So I think they need some weapons. And like we thought, you thought N'Keal Harry was the guy. Never really loved him coming out of college. I'm sorry.
I didn't like him coming out of Arizona State.
I don't like a lot. And then I don't like a lot of you're only a deep threat in college. When that's all you are, I don't like that. I need you to be able to run routes. I need you to be able to get open. I'd rather you just be a 3 to 5 yard slant guy who gets in, and once you get in open space, you're gone. But I don't like, okay, I could throw you the deep ball and kill the game. And then you're like, okay, are they going to get a receiver? Like, nobody has a receiver being mock draft to the Patriots this year. Like, nobody got Wilson, London.
Really quick about the Colts. I went and looked it up for you. So they don't have a first round draft pick.
Okay? They'll be fine. They can get a receiver.
I got you, but their first pick is 42nd. It is from Washington, and they don't pick again until 73rd, 122, 159, 179, 216, 239. And they're not going to find a receiver that late. But at 42, they've got to nail it. If you say Colts need a receiver, I agree with you. I think they need another receiver. I think Molly Cox is a great tight end, a young tight end there. But I do believe they need another receiver. But I don't think they need a bona fide future number one receiver. I love Pittman. I call high school. I call high school games out here in California. I call Calabasas high school games. I saw Pittman play with my own eyes in high school. I like that kid a lot. I think he's a solid number one. He's your number one, not just because he's there. I think he could go to 5 or 7 other teams in the league right now and be their number one receiver. I like that kid a lot. And I just think that Wentz took so much shine away from, and Wentz didn't even play bad last year. He had like 29 touchdowns, like 7 interceptions. I'm like, I'm trying to figure out, I'm out on him, but I'm still trying to figure out how people still look at some of these numbers. And I guess I'm contradicting myself because I love me some Kirk Cousins. And everybody trashes Kirk Cousins. I'm like, dude, I'll take them numbers any day in Miami. 35, 36 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 4,400 yards. How are you guys saying this guy's not good? But, I guess
Kirk is better than
no. Well, also too, you like that rubs, and it didn't rub me wrong. It's like it's an emotional win in Washington. You guys are shitting on him. You saying he sucks. He goes out and he wins a game and puts the team on his back. So when he's walking into the locker room, he's talking to you journalists out there, you radio people, you morning debate show people. You like that, and I think people we get this a lot in basketball. People use their platform to either help build athletes or help tear athletes down. There's been no more prevalent than Russell Westbrook this year. The radio and TV have helped tear this man's image and his value down. Wherever he goes next year, he's right back to 25, 10, and 10. Trust me, he didn't lose anything. It's just that when you have to play with LeBron, you have to play LeBron's system. You don't get to really play in a system. It was a bad fit. It was a bad move. LeBron chased it for a name. We get that. But the same thing happens in the NFL. Is if you are going to be a number one or try to go after just names, I just think you got to get just talent that can make it work. And with the Colts, to bounce back to them really quick, I'll give it back to you. I don't think they need another future number one. I like Pittman a lot. But I agree with you. I think they can find someone at 42, but I also can see them calling somebody and try. We know there's teams that's going to move back. It happens every draft. Their guy goes, they're looking to the future. They're like, you know what? If I could pick up a 3rd or a 4th round, God, the league is littered. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Mo, you know this. I'm talking to all my listeners and all my viewers. The league is littered with 3rd to 6th round guys. There's only 32 players that go in the first round. 50% of them don't pan out, people. There's 53 people per roster times 32. Do the math. Plus 15 practice squad players. Do the math, guys. The league is littered with 3rd to 6th round guys who you can go find. Teron Armstead, right? He was the catch of offensive lineman this year. $75 million deal in a free agency. He's a third-round pick, people. He didn't go in the first or second round. He's a third, which means there was at least 6 or 7 linemen that people looked at and thought were better than him and going to be better than him. So you can find guys. Teams will drop back. But if I'm the Colts, I think they move. I don't know if you can sit at 42. I think one of these receivers. I think I'm going to go up to 31 or 30. If I can move up 10, then I can grab one of these guys. I think they're the money guys. I think they're all. And when I say money, I don't mean green paper. I mean just going to show up and ball. I think they're gone by picks 25, 26.
So I think if I'm the Colts, I think you could stand pat at 42, and there's 3 guys at receiver that I think would fall to you that you would love, especially somebody for you. You love Michael Pittman Jr. So if I'm not looking for a wide receiver 1, which means I'm not going after Drake London, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson,
they're gone.
Or Burks, right? They're gone. Jamison Williams, I don't think he falls out because I think one of those top teams, the Packers or the Chiefs, who don't need him right away or whatever, go after him.
Yeah, he's got a hill. Yep, he's got a hill, but he's still going to go.
I'm looking at George Pickens out of Georgia. I'm looking at Calvin Austin Jr. out of Memphis. And I'm looking at Sky Moore out of Western Michigan. There'd be another guy. There's another guy that I think, but I don't know if I think he'll go early second round. There's David Bell out of Purdue. Now, if David Bell's sitting there early second round, maybe I'll jump up. But I think if I wouldn't jump up to get David Bell if I could get George Pickens, Calvin Austin Jr., or Sky Moore. I think those are 3 guys. If you think somebody with your thought process, Michael Pittman Jr. is my number 1, all 3 of those guys you'd be reluctant to have them as a wide receiver 2, especially George Pickens. That's a guy who I'm intrigued to see how people feel about him because remember before the ACL injury, he was going to be the cream of the crop of this wide receiver class, knowing that Garrett Wilson was coming out, knowing that Chris Olave was coming out. Treylon Burks made a name for himself. Jameson Williams made a name for himself because remember, he was on that Ohio State.
You like more, Olave or Williams?
I like Olave.
I think Garrett's better.
I think Garrett Wilson
in the NFL, you got to run routes.
I think Garrett Wilson is the better all-around receiver but I think Olave will go to the better situation, and situation matters. I think Olave not going top 10 is going to help him. Let's say he goes to New Orleans, right? Let's say New Orleans drafts Olave. He's playing alongside Michael Thomas. You might be talking about Garrett Wilson going to the Jets and having to catch this.
You're asking Olave to slide to 18, and he's gone by 18.
He could slide to 18. People are starting to fall in love with Treylon Burks a lot right now. I think Drake London and Garrett Wilson are the 1 and 2 guys at wide receiver right now. I think Olave could slip to 18. I really think
Seattle's at 9, Jets are at 10.
They're not taking a receiver.
Minnesota at 12.
They're not taking a receiver either. They got Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. I don't see them
Adam Thielen's on his down. No, after the knee. I hate to say this, I'm just being real. White receivers get hurt on the knees. They're never the same again.
They need
Jordy Nelson.
I think Minnesota goes after one of these corners. Like if I'm Minnesota, if I'm doing a mock draft for Minnesota, I'm getting a corner. I'm getting Stingley if he's there. I'm getting Buddy out.
Cincy kids off the board.
Oh, Sauce Gardner might go top 5 while you playing. He might go top 5.
Both those guys are gone by 12. If this all stands pat, we saw last year there was a lot of movement with the Eagles, the Dolphins, the Bears, and the Niners. So we saw a lot of top movement. But if this stands pat right now, Olave does not fall. I mean, you have Eagles back to back at 15 and 16. You got it. At some point, you gotta. I would add to Devontae Smith in what?
Yeah, I would.
I mean, your quarterback and your 2 starting receivers, they're all 3 years or younger in the league. That's the future right there.
But what if they I think if I'm Philly and I was to pick a receiver, if I'm Philly for what I got, I'd take Treylon Burks over Chris Olave if I'm Philly for the simple fact I have Devontae Smith. I got that small body, knows how to route run, get open, that Marvin Harrison Jr. Now I need that deep threat. And I think Treylon Burks, a bigger body, deep threat. I think he fits Philly alongside Devontae Smith more than Olave does.
Something that scared people from Bell at Purdue was how Rondale Moore didn't come in and kind of tear up the league a little more.
I think David Bell's a better receiver than Rondale Moore, though. Rondale Moore was that plug and play. Rondale Moore in college was what Tavon Austin was in college. Like, even kind of what Deshaun Jackson was, but Deshaun Jackson turned out to be like of that class of receiver. Deshaun Jackson was like cream of that class of receiver, but like Tavon Austin, where you use him everywhere.
Deshaun Jackson was fast as shit,
right? But you use Deshaun Jackson everywhere coming out of college because like he's so fast, you can't do nothing. But I think he's more like how even like Percy Harvin, Tavon Austin. If anybody remember Chris Rainey from Florida,
of course,
you know what I'm saying?
Of course,
I think he was that kind of guy, and I think people had so much hope that he could be like gadget guy seemed to be the move, and at Cliff Kingsbury having a gadget guy, But I think David Bell's a more polished wide receiver. Like, he's going to come in and be an NFL wide receiver, not a gadget guy, not a guy that I'm putting back there at running back for some plays, catching screen passes because he got burner speed. He's really small. I think Calvin Austin Jr. is probably going to be that gadget type guy, but he's blazing fast as well. Yes. And so I think the Colts would love to have a guy like him. Or I love Sky Moore. That's the guy I love at receiver, and not because he's not going to be the best wide receiver, I don't think. I just think all these guys are getting love, and there's always somebody. We talk about Garrett Wilson, Olave, Drake London. There's going to be a guy getting taken the second or third round. Or
of course, that's what DK Metcalf was. Even though I still say and think
he only goes because
he's a one-trick pony. He's a one-trick pony to me, and there's too much receiver diva. The receiver diva comes at some point. I just don't like it in year 1 and 2. I just think that's way too early for you to be on the sideline, going off and upset and going at it with the best corner. I understand you're a competitor, but I still think there's a level of respect there. AI crossed the shit out of Jordan, but he also tells you during pregame when he's watching Jordan warm up, he's like, AI said, he's like, I looked over at him and like he had a glow, like his aura, like he was like, that's how I saw him. He was, but when that ball gets tipped up,
what he did, and he still remained humble, right?
Exactly.
Like, and I think
when DK went against Ramsey, it felt more diva shit talking than competitive, but I still respect you because I want to beat the best corner in football. He let Ramsey get all up in it. I don't like receivers, bro, that get receivers and running backs. To me, you got to be more focused, almost like the quarterback is. Everybody else, dude, I can deal with Christian Wilkins doing splits and talking shit. And I can deal with other players being goofy when they're mic'd up or talking shit or saying me. I can deal with all that heady shit from those guys because I kind of need that from them. But I need my running back, I need my quarterback, and I need my receiver to be the mental calming forces to my football team, not just the offense, my football team. Because at some point, I do need you to calm down my psychotic linebacker because I need a psychotic linebacker. I need a linebacker for about 6 or 7 years that just don't give a fuck. I need that guy to play middle line. And if you go through history and you look at the greater linebackers, they just tell you, I didn't give a damn. I'm going. Here I go. Yeah, I hear you, coach, over there, but I see something right now. Hold that play. I see something. But now, every now and then, Phil Simms had to go over to LT and say, all right, LT, all right, that's enough now. And we like
it. Triangle on offense. You need that triangle, and it's your number one wide receiver, your running back, and your quarterback. You need those three
to all be,
and they just got to be
calm
down. Like, I get it. A guy like Jalen Ramsey is going to get in your head, right? But like, even DK was a little too diva for me playing with Russell Wilson. Like, how do you even get like that with a guy who, however you feel about Russell Wilson, his approach to football is very serious. Like, he works hard. That's what everybody says. He's a level-headed guy, kind of corny, right? Like, he's a little cheesy, little goofball.
I don't like to say that because I feel like because he is a black man, I got to stand for my black man. But I always do say
he's a little corny, though.
He's beloved the way he is, especially I feel sometimes by white sports media, is because he's not unapologetically black. And so that keeps me from calling him corny because I don't like to do that to a fellow brother. But he is not unapologetically black, and that fits more of how they want to see black quarterbacks act. Like, we have to act a certain way to be looked at as a serious quarterback. But if you have braids, or if you have twists, or if you speak with slang sometime, blah.
Or if your team is eating W's and
yeah, exactly. He run around too like Mike Vick. He ain't Mike Vick. We know that. He ain't even Randall Cunningham, but he runs too. He's a mobile quarterback, but they don't say that about him. They say he makes plays. They didn't say that about Mike. He's exciting. Are you watching Winning Time on HBO Max?
Yeah. Okay. I peeped into it.
Okay, so remember the first episode where they were talking about all the adjectives they were using for Larry Bird, and they were putting up white, and then they were saying all the adjectives for Magic. When they say, here, Magic Johnson, he's a showstopper black. He's so athletic black. He's so gifted black. Like, and I laugh so hard because that's how the media does.
But they describe them different because you look at you are your race, right? Like, and it is what it is. And there's a certain, you feel like he's fast for a white guy. Like you'll say that, or like, wow, they'll tell a white guy he's surprisingly athletic, right? You'd be like, well, what's that mean?
My comedy side has to come out. I'm sorry. The reason why we say he fast for a white guy, because white boys are normally slow.
Right, they are. And so like they're
not sprinters.
They'll be like, he's shockingly athletic. And you're like, yeah, because you didn't have the expectation of any type of speed for him, right? But then like, and we see them do it. And it bothers me. Like, I know we're off track, but it does bother me.
We're off track, homie. This is what we do here. Talk.
Especially with speaking about black quarterbacks, it bothers me because we saw it with Justin Fields last year. Then so they felt like Justin Fields didn't have the capacity, doesn't make the right reads. Like, this man showed his ass at Ohio State. He literally was arguably the best quarterback, most NFL-ready quarterback Ohio State has ever had, right? Especially when you look at NFL ready.
Yeah.
He was the best one. I thought like, this going to be the guy. So then you talk about Malik Willis, and they're talking about Malik Willis and this, he surprised us at how well spoken he is. He surprised us at how good he was in the interviews, which therefore means you had a level of ignorance that you expected because he is a African-American quarterback. Yep. So then when you say he surprised us at how well he broke down the film, he surprised us at how well his mental capacity breaks down the playbook, that means you had no hope. And that's where the whole, like, I don't like necessarily having an argument about like athletes get treated like slaves, but that's where it comes from, is because like you have no expectation for me to do anything but entertain you on the field. You don't think I'm a smart player. You don't think I know how to read defenses. You don't expect me to be well-spoken. If I am well-spoken, you black people call me whitewashed if I'm well-spoken, but if I speak like the product of my environment, which is how most of us do, because that's how we communicate, because that's who we deal with on a daily basis, now I'm ignorant. Now I'm ghetto. Now I'm not smart because I don't speak with intellect, but a lot of us are intellectual. We just don't, that's not the product of our environment to talk like that. It is what it is. Like, we speak with slang because that's where we come from. You come from Cali, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm from Florida. But they speak differently. But when you put all of them in a room, there's still a common, like, I get the Cali slang, I get the Florida slang, but guess what? There's like a common middle that, like, we're all black and we all understand each other. So it's just, I hate when they do that, especially to black quarterbacks, because I get it. You don't expect, sometimes just the whole offensive lineman, right? Whether they black or white, you just expect some big, strong, the big, strong dummies that just know how to block, right? Like, that's always been even in high school, like the offensive linemen were dummies. Like, that was the expectation.
Football players in high school were dummies. Football players,
pretty much all of them.
If you played football, we were taking bad court. If you took cooking, I took home ec because I love to cook. I'm the cook in my house now. I cook 95% of the meals in my home now, but that comes from my upbringing. But because I played football, it was the jokes that you're in home ec. The football players in home, man. I was like, yeah, because I didn't want to take sewing. I didn't want to take shop. I'm not going to do that. But I love to cook. I'm not here because it's an easy grade. I'm here. You burnt your spaghetti yesterday. My shit was delicious. I got an A on my pizza. So I actually know what the hell I'm doing here. So I feel you. There's
expectation is we're just not intelligent. So like they put you, you're always, but they do it to black quarterbacks more than anything. We saw it with Justin Fields last year, where freaking Zach, when the hell ever would a quarterback from BYU get more hype than a quarterback from Ohio State? When we always talk about, we question everybody else about their level of competition, but then because he's Justin Fields and he's black and they're saying all the things that they expect about a black quarterback. You even saw it with Dwayne Haskins and Daniel Jones. Like, Daniel Jones was picked because we loved his interviews and things like that. Dwayne Haskins was
from
the
Duke.
typical black quarterback. Right? Like, and I know
a quarterback from Duke.
And I know Dwayne Haskins didn't pan out. Like, I know he turned out to kind of be the stereotypical everything that you expected. But at the same time, like, going into that draft, Dwayne Haskins was levels above Daniel Jones. Like, the level of competition they played against.
He still sucks as a pro, though.
He does. I will give you that 100%.
I told people he's going to suck.
Yeah, what he does suck, right? But he still was levels better than Daniel Jones. Even on
coming out of school, you're absolutely right.
So to project that he wasn't going to be good, I probably would have projected he's not going to be great just because he was Ohio State quarterback. Name me a great one we've had. We haven't had one, right? We dominate.
Herb Street. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, like we dominate everywhere else. You see Ohio State got, with Michigan, like Tom Brady, right? But then since Tom Brady, how many great quarterbacks have there been from Michigan? But you dominate the board everywhere else. So like when you get a guy who they're like, oh yeah, he's gonna go to the NFL, you be like, that's the last guy I'm worried about. We got receivers, we got running backs, we got defensive ends, linebackers, dominate everywhere else. You don't even care. People like, oh, Ohio State quarterbacks don't do nothing. Guess what? They're dominant in college. They compete for national championships. I don't care if Justin Fields suck in the NFL, right? Like it doesn't matter to me. If he took us to a national championship, I don't care what they go do, but we dominate everywhere else. But then especially when it comes to black quarterbacks, it's just they're not there. They're not smart. Oh, he surprised us how smart he was. What does that even mean? Like, I know what it means, but
you know who I love, man? I told you, I'm a real football fan. I hate the fuck guys, but there's always a fuck guy every now and then that comes through that I fall for because I love football. I loved Eddie George. I loved Joey Galloway. I loved Antoine Winfield. I loved Troy Smith.
Joey Galloway now.
Well, yeah, of course now, because now he's,
he shits on Ohio State on TV. I hate that man.
I know. Well, something must have happened. He must
because I was a huge.
He must not have got his name put on the building or some shit. Like I don't get that because most former fuck guys they still love the school. Maurice Claret was probably one guy that I just looked at and was like, he was a bad guy to recruit. He got in trouble in high school for doing.
What's crazy?
Stuff, yeah,
that was just because you mentioned his name, but that was when I was 6 years old.
That was your intro? Okay.
First off, we got the same name, right? And they had two running backs at the time. They had Maurice Claret and Maurice Hall. Yep. You remember that time? Ohio State, Michigan, both teams were great at that time too. The rivalry was everything. Yep. It still is to this day. I don't care what anybody say, but they had Maurice Claret and Maurice Hall, and I wanted to be Maurice Claret. I played Little League. I wore number 13. Like I thought I'm the next Maurice Claret. And so then
he was a good college running back.
Well, then he got locked up, right? So he got locked up, and he was locked up with my uncle, and so my uncle told him like I idolize him. I kid you not, bro. He told him I idolize him. Boom, 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 bro. He writes me a letter. My grandmother, on everything. My grandmother has me the letter. I've gotten in contact with Maurice Claret because I'm trying to get him on the show. She sent me pictures of the letter. I sent it over to him because at first it seemed like he was interested. Yeah, I got you. I'm like, all right, bro, I'm just going to break it to you straight. This is why I want you on. You wrote me this letter when I was like 9 years old, and everything you told me like stuck with me my whole life. Like this letter kind of set me up for playing sports growing up and stuff like that. So like to me, as wrong as Maurice Claret did, he does no wrong in my eyes just because like he was a big part of my childhood, bro. He really was. And like to this day, if I do, bro, like that's my dream. Like everybody has their dream. There's two for me. Three. If I talk to Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and Maurice Claret on Up in Flames, I'll retire. I'll stop.
Those are your dream, and those are your dream guys.
T.O. Yeah, I want to talk to T.O.
My list crushes your list.
When it comes,
you gave me your three. I'll give you my three. I need Dan Marino, Bo Jackson, and Mike Tyson.
But So your era was also different.
Oh, okay. You're right. D-Wade,
I'm a Miami Heat fan. D-Wade is my favorite player.
Oh, okay.
Going up. So like that's what D-Wade. Then LeBron. LeBron is my childhood. I know you hate him, but you got to think about it. He come into the league. I'm 8 years old. You know what I'm saying? Then he goes to the Miami Heat and plays
I hope you have a lot of questions about himself because that's all he's going to want to talk about.
Well, that'll be fine. I'll give him the floor and I just, chime in and laugh when I need to. And then with Maurice Claret is just the whole, what he meant to me.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that in Wade. I didn't know you were a Heat fan. No, I'm cool. I'm cool with that in Wade. Me, I just There's not a current guy. There's not a current guy I'm dying to talk. I'll have guys on the show if they'll do it for me or what have you. But I'm working on my journalism, man. I'm working on my journalism skills. And if I talk to a Mike Tyson, there's certain questions I gotta ask. I'm talking to a Dan Marino. There's certain, like, I want to ask Dan Marino. I would ask Dan Marino, like, on those Sundays, at a certain point in your career, when you woke up on a Sunday morning, how many years was it that you knew you had to score 28 or more to win that day? Like, because that's the insight you go into knowing, okay, so when I go back and I remember some of them games, it's like when he's out there going off on guys or, telling guys he's mic'd up, like, come on, man, let's stop messing around. Let's go out here and put some points on the damn board. You've forgotten the answer from a Mike Tyson, self-explanatory, man. He's Mike
Tyson. Yeah,
like Mike Tyson. I think Rodman would be great for me too. Rodman would be one that I would want to, because I know there's tough questions and there's in-depth info I can ask those guys that I think I can ask professionally, not to piss them off, and professionally enough that they would want to answer them. And then, of course, Bo Jackson, who I think is the greatest God-given athlete. And we didn't appreciate Bo Jackson enough. And that's why the Lord took him from us early as he did, because we just didn't appreciate. The man has said he played football for something to do. Who the hell can play football for something to do? Football is a year-round lifetime. We've been talking about it. You got to dedicate your life to this. He was so gifted. He said track was his first love. Baseball was his second love. Football. The man could walk on the field in October.
He just happened to be great. Like, his camp just happened to be great.
No preseason. And Marcus Allen's there. And they would still be like, oh, shit, Bo. Is that Bo over there? Bo. Yo, Bo. You here? You ready? You go. Yo, I formation, right? I-80, tall sweep to the left. Let's go. Bo. Marcus, come on out. Yeah, get a breather. Get some Gatorade. Get some Gatorade. Bo just got. Like, Bo can show up like my man in Playmakers. Showing up after doing cocaine and stuff. The young running back, Omar Gooding Jr.'s character, showing up at kickoff. The veteran think he about to get back up in there and shit. My man, Omar Gooding Jr. character, went and got the coke, came back, tried to get it out the rug, went back to the crack house because he spilled it in the car. He walking out, sniffing it up. He ready. That's Bo Jackson, without the drugs, of course, but that's Bo Jackson. Baseball, come on, man. They said, but they tell a story. I seen this documentary where one of the, I think it might have been Hank Aaron, says that when Bo showed up, it's like 20 years old, 21 years old, and first taking batting practice in Kansas City. And he said the first pitch the guy throws, and it hits the scoreboard out over the right field fence, center field, home run. He goes, I've only heard that sound off of two bats in his lifetime. He was like, it was mine. And then we hear rumors of how the ball sounded coming off of Babe Ruth's bat, where you just knew it was gone from the sound. If you were blind, you could still hear when he hit it, it was going to be a home run. Bo Jackson would be the interview of interviews, because he's a guy I can ask about these athletes of today and guys that, your guy, LeBron could have played in the NFL. I would be like, bro, like, you did it. I look at guys that did it. Allen Iverson was an All-American at quarterback, cornerback, and special teams returner his junior year in high school. He could have played in the NFL because you have all those accolades at the high school level in Southern Virginia, the same area that produced Tiki, Ronnie Barber, Mike Vick, Marcus Vick, Aaron Brooks, Ahmad Brooks, like that Southern Virginia area. Athletes for days, Alonzo Mourning, JJ Redick, they all come out of that Tidewater, Southern Virginia area. So, those would be my interviews, man. Of course, if you want to dig up dead guys, Ali, Kobe, guys like that, but they're dead and gone. So, but the Maurice Claret thing is pretty dope. Look, man, I appreciate you being on, brother. I do. I appreciate you being. This has been mad fun. And yeah, man. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, I'm back, homie. As you can see,
casually.
I had to. I don't know if I told you this. I had a job offer from a certain network. I won't put it up here. And I was locked in. Did the audition. Loved me. Both producers, directors, everybody. After the audition, they're calling my phone. Like, dude, God, that was the talent loved you. Like, yeah, well, let's get the semantics done. Let's get you introduced and pushed through to the, president of the network and blah, 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 blah. And let's do one more run through. Let's check your internet, because the network was in New York and they were just going to do via internet, do a satellite with me here. And it comes to the morning of my last audition to just get one more sound check, one more click. Money's already set up. Contracts sitting ready for you. Let's just get through this anymore. And something from my Twitter from like 2017, 2018 made them say no. So it was a lesson. I felt like it was a loss. And then in my family, my friends, my homies, everybody that just loved me and see my talent, they were like, you ain't lose, bro. Did you learn? One of my homies hit me from back east. I told him what happened. He's like, yo, so what happened? So when are we going to see you on the network, bro? Next week? I was like, I ain't getting it, man. I told him what happened. He's like, I said, yeah, man, I just felt like I let people down. He's like, you ain't let nobody down, bro. Get off of that. I felt like I let my son down. I let my daughter. He's like, man, you ain't let nobody down, dog. That just means God got something else for you, but you see your potential. He said, did you learn? I said, yeah, I learned. He goes, then you didn't lose. And this is an OG that I know from high school. And he still hits me up on my bets. Yo, I got 100 today, man. Who should I put it on the NBA block? He's one of those guys who truly believes in me. So it did make me start questioning, like, damn, man, do I even want to do this shit anymore? If I can't be myself, and if I got to watch what I say about a certain team or owner or something, damn, man, like, I can't tell the truth. You want me to be cookie cutter? I can't do that shit. I can't do cookie cutter. I can't, because my friends, my colleagues, Mo Murphy will see me and go, that ain't V. V talking like that for that check. Damn, man. All right, I get it. Got to get the bag. But there would be a piece of you that would go, yeah, he always talked kind of against that, though, man. Now you see they dangled money in front of his face. Now he talking. People would see it because I'm raw and uncut. So that was the thing that made me start just questioning, all right, do I even want to do this, man? Do I want to deal with this? Or I'm in sales. I'm in real estate. I got so much going on in my life. Maybe God's way. Maybe this ain't for me no more. I know I'm good. I don't have to prove nothing to nobody. The networks get me on. I get paid to do this. I'm cool. But something reset in me, man. Was like, nah. You have to listen to what people are telling you. You didn't lose anything. You learned from it. So I crashed that whole Twitter. I started from scratch. I'm already almost close back to 2,000 followers. I was at like 4.5, 5. And just in a month and a half, I got right back to like almost 2,000. So I'm back, and it's like, nah, man. But I learned. Just watch what you tweet. Just can't say it's not changing who you are. When you get on radio, you say what you say. But as far as tweeting it, stay off of teams, stay away from owners. You can talk about players and shit, but I learned from it. I also learned that in this world, there's only a very few people that's going to accept you for who you truly are. And we just saw that at the Oscars, right? We just saw that at the Oscars where a guy I've been a fan of, I bought Parents Just Don't Understand single cassette. You too young to remember. You probably heard of it, but I purchased a single cassette where on each side was the radio version. It was the regular version. It was just a single cassette with my lawn mowing money. That's how far I go back with that gentleman. And to watch what he did the other night was disappointing. It was disappointing, but it also told me what I always knew too. You can't have toxicity in your life, man. Sooner or later, that shit just pours out. In his situation, we don't need to go into it, but his situation with who was sitting next to him in the green dress, the devil that Denzel Washington told him and whispered when he said, Denzel told me a minute ago, the devil comes for you at your highest moment. The devil is sitting right next to him. He just doesn't know it yet. We all see it and we all know it. We all know it and see it. So you got to get toxicity out of life. Your situation doesn't define who you are, and you don't lose, you learn. So I had to kind of reset, man. And then when I looked at the scope, I said, all right, I'm good. I'm back. Let me get back to doing what I do. And that's why when I text you today, and I already know you understand his name. I already know you heard it from because he's the first person he hit me up when he was on Radio Row for Super Bowl. And I told him, I said, nah, man, I'm done. I quit. He was like, what? Nah, hell, he texted me for like a week. Bro, you're not giving up. You're not quitting. You're not. I said, dog, look.
And that, so when I heard, he hit me up and was like, hey, bro, like I'm trying to talk to him, hit him up. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, what's going on? And he was like, man, I don't know, dog, but he too talented, you know what I'm saying, to basically tell me what he told me. And it was just like, you was done. And I'm like, damn, like, I was like, I want to hit him up. I said, but man, I said, man, it's an OG making a decision. Young bull ain't, you know what I'm saying? Everybody probably telling him that in the corner. I'm like, you just let somebody find their way, and then boom, you hit me, and I'm like,
exactly,
I heard you was done.
Exactly.
I ain't believe it, but I heard
it. I text you back. Yeah, don't believe everything. Don't believe everything.
I didn't believe it. I'm like, sometimes we go through something and boom, like, man, I don't know. We question ourselves all the time, but I was like, I heard you was done, but I was like, we'll see. Like, that was just all in my head. I'm like, I'm gonna let him take his course. We'll see. And boom, look at you, like, you back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because if I would be like, bro, don't quit. Everybody telling you that. Like, you don't need me tell you that. Hey, sit back.
Everybody.
And
don't do it. Don't quit. But what I think people have to realize is that you have to rid certain things out of your life in order to let new things in. And what it did do, man, honestly, it spawned at Husky Bets. The show I auditioned for was a betting show. It was a betting show. It was a show where we would come on, or the host would come on and talk about the lines of the pick. It wasn't no opinions. It was all sports betting. It wasn't about who's top 10. So it was cool to get away from that type of sports talk and just talk. Okay, listen, it's a 4.5 spread tonight, guys. 8 of the last 9 games over the spread. That's what I was doing. So, and to be able to do it professionally for the very first time and have 2 show producers, the director of the show, and all 3 talent after we go, okay, and we're off there. And it wasn't live. It was just an audition, but they ran it like it was a live show. Afterwards, all 3, they're like, hey, VJ, great job, man. Like, and she was like, one of the girls was like, yeah, I like that line about Afro. I was like, yeah, Afro Reed, because Afro about Kyrie about the black people, and I ain't getting the vaccine. So I call him, I ain't grew the fro. I was like, man, that's Afro Reed right there. And they just love that little line. But the fact that I was able to do that for the very first time and actually hang with people who do the betting lines and shit every day, the moral of the story was, it was God's way of showing me, you always talk about you want to be an entrepreneur. You always talk about you want invest in network, invest in sports to blow up. And that's what this all comes back to. I always keep saying I want these things, and we all do. But the minute a network dangled a carrot in front of me, I bit. And I bit because I have a 2-year-old. I have a 5-month-old. I want a Porsche one day. I want a big ass house with my pool and my jacuzzi and my dad's shed in the backyard, so where the family can have a whole house and I could go sit in my studio out back with my TV and my sofa and my sauna and my workout gym and all my shit, like that shit the Rock be showing he be in. I need one of them with some sofas and some weights. And I want to live that life. And I know sometimes these networks pay where you could get that money to get that life. But then it was like, but that's not what you be asking God for. You've been asking God for vesting. You created and built this shit. You paid for the LLC of this shit. And here you are. And it was God's way of kind of reeling me back in and said, be patient. I know you got shit stacked against you, but do you eat steak and lobster and crab legs and shit still when you want to? Yes. Are your lights still on? Do you still have a 9-to-5 that's paying your bills? Are your kids healthy? Is your wife healthy? Do you need anything? All right, then. Be patient, Vernon. And that was the lesson that I took from it. And then it made me go, why don't I have my own betting show? I put my spreads out. I put my picks out. People follow me. They see my shit be right. I hit on 82% in the NFL last year, week to week. And every week I came on and I gave y'all every single game. I didn't pick 4. Such and such is 4 for the week. No, nigga, we went through the whole schedule. Give me this, 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 give me this. And on Monday, I'll come back on. I'll tell y'all what my record was. And some Sundays it's 11-3. Great. Sometimes, God, guys, it was tough this weekend, man. I was 9-5 over the week, or 8-7 over the weekend, guys, with all the NFL. But shit, I was 12-2 this week. Playoffs came around, did it. So it helped spawn Husky Bets, made me buy my own name again and that get another LLC and create my own betting show. Now I started making my own betting website where it'll be up in June. People will be able to come and pay a monthly subscription for my picks. You can't bet, and I don't make a percentage of your money. But some OG put me on to it. I told him this story. He goes, you know what you need to do? You need your own betting website because you do be picking shit right, V. I said, but people don't get rich off just betting anymore. He goes, no. But what they do get rich off of is putting together a website and selling their picks at $89.99 a month reoccurring. I was like, wow, hold on. I started to research it. There are people out here with websites people pay for, man, that's $199 a month for you to be able to get their picks and get their. So I said, okay. So I started building my own website. Then this business started to spawn for me. And this football season, it's on, man. I'm going to help so much. It's not about me. I'm going to help so many people make so much money. Prop bets, money lines, over-unders, straight up spread. I do it all, man. Last week, Trae Young made me $450. I told everybody it was a prop bet, 4.5 threes against the Knicks. He hit 7 that night. It was a plus 650. $60 got me $450. So I'm making prop bets. Oh, yeah. And I put it out there before that. I'm making prop bets like that. If you follow my new Twitter, every day I'll put out all my hockey bets and all my NBA. Every game. I don't miss it. I pick every single game. And that's the business, man. But to rewind it back to what happened to me, God made that happen to me with that network to show me, stop chasing the carrot. I got you. I already got you on Fox. I know you're on the bench and you're just a fill-in, but you're there. They know you. People know you be over there, but keep working. Basically, get up off your ass and work harder on VESSN. Work harder on Husky Bets. Get up off your ass. I showed you can do it nationally. You had one audition, and they wanted you. Off one audition, they wanted you. Imagine if you built it yourself. So that's the moral of the story, man. It helped me get my, because you're feeling this pressure with the kid. You're married, you got kids, man. You know how it is. If a network is calling you right now, you might be like, hey, yo, babe, like Fox Sports Midwest called me today. And your wife's probably gonna go, yeah, babe, go, yeah, right? But then you can't be Mo Murphy no more. You kind of got to be what they want Mo Murphy to be. And that's not to say not go do it. But I think that's why I'm kind of on the bench, and I'm cool being on the bench right now with Fox. Yeah, I would love a weekend spot. But I know if I'm 5 days a week there, I probably can't do VESSN no more because I'm on 5 days a week. That means I'm at pre-pause, I'm at pro-spot. I got to go over there and do ad reads and sponsor reads that they're going to play recorded through the night and through the day. We got to do takes up time. Now VESSN starts to kind of dwindle down. Yeah, you build a big name, you make a lot of paycheck, get some money. But like Dame Dash said, he was on a breakfast club. Can I leave that to my son? If my son needs some money out of Fox, can I give it to him? Or any other network? Not dissing them. They know I love it over there. I want to go back more. But can I give that to my son? No. Can I give him some money out of that? If he need a job there, can I get him a job? No. But can I leave them that? Can I give him some? Can he get some money at it? That's the goal, and that's what God refocused. So when I text you, sometimes you got to get kind of lined back in. That was the line back in, man. They dangled a carrot in front of me. And Mo, real quick, bro. Everybody bid. My wife, everybody. When I told people, they was like, what? You about to be on such and such? Oh, they get like 11 million viewers. Blah, 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 blah. It's a big time city. It's back in New York. It's New York. It's the mecca of fucking entertainment other than LA. And everybody bid. Nobody talked about VESSN. Nobody. And it was just God's way of saying, slow down.
Yeah.
I got you. You got to trust me. I know it's pressure. I know you got 2 babies. I know you're in your mid-40s. I know you want to be a good dad and be a provider. I got you, though. But I dangled that carrot in front of you. Damn, look how hard you bit. You bit. And I did. I bit. Mo, I was already thinking shit I was going by. I was like, all right, so I could design my son room, go get the furniture I want. Like yo, babe, with like some of them first checks, I'm gonna go get the bed that he wanted, the dresser, make his room. I mean, I was all ready, bro. But it was all for my family. It wasn't, I'm gonna go get jewelry and I'm gonna go get shoes. I was like, damn. And then I can I can help my baby pay off some of her college loan. That's what I was thinking. But God's like, pump the brakes. So that I know that was a little ramble there, but that's what it was, man. That's what happened.
Well, hey, man, you back though. You back. Yeah. That's all that matters, man. You hit the ground running again. That's all that matters. Back. You seem happy. Hey, VJ back. He back blessing the Twitter and
Instagram, I do.
Whatever else, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, iHeart. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, it's good to have you back. But we'll definitely, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we'll definitely. I know you back and stuff. You good? So yeah, we'll definitely have to talk too.
I'm doing a live draft show. If you want to get in on it, let me know. I did it last year. I did a live show for the whole first round. So 4 hours. And we went, I had the TV set up. And so we went pick by pick. We would let them announce. We would all give our pick, what we think it's going to be. And then everybody be quiet and we hear the pick. Everybody's watching it on their TV. And then we go from there. So if you want in on it, because you're very knowledgeable with college and with pro, I think you will be an asset to the show. So if you want to do the live draft show, I got another guy that's going to do it too. Last year, it was me and another gentleman. And then we had a few like Alex Thomas, celebrity comedian, dropped in, Eric Dickerson, and some other guys jump in and drop in for a pick or two. But if you want to come on and do the live draft show, let me know. We set it all up, man, from pick 1 to pick 32. We just go through our mock draft. It's a lot of prep. So it's on you, bro. The invite's there, man. Think about it, discuss it, whatever. Let me know. I would love to have you on. I would love to have you on the draft show.
All right, bet. Yeah, we'll definitely talk more about it.
Okay. Tell everybody where they can find you, homie.
Yeah, you can find me at Mo_Cheese15 on Twitter, Instagram, at Up in Flames Pod on Instagram. Yeah, you know, the whole Mo Cheese mantra.
I like that shit, Mo.
It's been since high school, bro. It's just a name I got on the basketball court. So I embraced it. You know what I'm saying? It was like,
I like it. I like Mo Cheese, man. Yeah. You watch Boondocks?
Yeah, I watch Boondocks.
You remember episode where Mike Epps plays the voice of the fighter pilot? Grandpa goes back to his funeral and he wants him to do a eulogy at his funeral, but he was calling himself Mo Guns. He was a fighter pilot. Yeah.
People used to call. So I got called that at one point when I was going by Mo Cheese. Everybody was trying to. So they was calling me like Mo Trey because I was wearing number 3 and I was shooting the 3 ball. But that's where the cheese came from. Every time I used to shoot it, I just used to be like cheese. Cheese.
When I used to shoot my jumper, I used to yell out panties.
Oh, but yeah. I get it, but you know what I'm saying? Like everybody else had their own like water. Oh, it's wet, whatever. Like, so I was like, man, I gotta have something different. Like, oh yeah, his shot be wet. Oh, da da da. So I was like, you know what? When I shoot, I'm gonna just say cheese. Like I'm always smiling.
That's funny.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what everybody was like. It fits you. You goofy. You funny. You entertaining. So like cheese. You always cheesing. You always happy. So it just everything fits you. And when you shoot the jumper, you say cheese. So I took it and I ran with it. Put it on in high school. It was on my hoodie. It was on my track. It was cheese. Like everything was cheese. My homeboy, hey, yeah, this my homie cheese. Like it just became my new like nickname. They stopped calling me Mo, and it was like, oh yeah, this my homie cheese right here. So everybody, hey cheese, hey cheese. So I just took it and I ran with it. And then, you know what I'm saying, as I got older, I just never dropped it.
Yeah, I had a bunch of nicknames too, man. They used to call me cornbread. It's because I was yellow, thick, and sweet.
Yeah, I'm tired of the light skin jokes. You know what I'm saying? Like I done got all. We'd have probably got a lot of the same ones too. So yeah, the light skin names I could go without.
That's why I invested in vanilla. That's why everything is. I'm the big vanilla, bro. I ain't light skin. I'm vanilla. You need vanilla for everything. You even need vanilla to make chocolate. You can't make chocolate without vanilla in it, homeboy. Like it goes in everything. Everybody loves vanilla. Vanilla ice cream, vanilla cream, like. Vanilla, so we ain't doing that whole. I tell Chris Broussard, he always committing vanilla on vanilla crime because he's a guy who shows me a lot of love, but he's like the older brother who cheers loudest for you at your high school game, but on the walk home tells you everything you did wrong during the game. He's that guy.
You do need that, like in everybody's face. You know what I'm saying? I'm your biggest cheerleader, but behind closed doors in private conversations, I'm gonna let you know where you messed up at. But I'm not gonna be. Your biggest critic, but everybody else ain't gonna see I'm your biggest critic. You need that.
Yeah, he a hater, man. He always told. He just texted me the other night. I think I said something. He was like, "Yeah, man, that's the worst take you've ever." I said, first of all, I don't have takes. Number 2. You know I'm the nicest unsigned independent sports talk guy in the nation. You know this, like all the independent guys sound like I ain't all of them, and you know it as well as I've started to be the little brother to fight back now. Like I fight back. Now.
Yeah, like I'm getting my punches in now.
I'll text them. I text them all. Him, Rob, everybody. I was like, yo, I see all y'all all y'all tournament picks were horrible. Y'all, Rob picked Kentucky to win it, so his bracket was done first round, first day. So I make sure I bring that up. Be like, bro, you be what? Yeah, I'm watching, man. I'm a competitor. I'm a colleague with you over there. I may be on the bench, but I'm still a colleague. So I'm a competitor. And I look at all y'all picks because I want to see where I stack up. So when you get on my show or I come over on Fox, I don't want to hear. When I listen to it's funny. I love listening to guys I know because I can tell what you're saying is real or not because I know you. I've talked to you off record. So I can tell. And that's why I still listen to those two guys. I don't think there's a guy in radio who stays more true to who he is than Rob Parker. What we talk about privately, he says the same stuff on the radio. And that's why I respect him the way I do. And even in private, I'll be like, bro, Rob, come on, man. VJ, I'm trying to tell you. And he'll get on the radio. He'll say the same stuff. Tom Brady, he's the Robert Horry of the NFL. And I'm like, the Robert Horry? Duh. Eat the wings, Rob. Eat your wings, man. Watch the game.
What do you call Brady? The lope? The luckiest of all time, the low.
What makes him so cool, man, is he sends my kids T-shirts and onesies when they were first born as baby gifts, and they were like the luckiest baby of all time by having us as parents. So he's that dude. Like he shows mad love, man. So hey, brother, I love you, man. I appreciate it, man. How's the wife and the kid? How's the family? How's the Murphy house?
All good, bro. You know what I'm saying? My daughter just turned 4. My son turned 1 in May. Like on May 1st, bro. Everything.
That's right. You and I got babies still.
Yeah, bro. My daughter just got babies. Like I said, my son, he'll be 1 May 1st. You know what I'm saying? Going to work every day, bro. Just doing what I do, trying to make my way for the fam.
Please keep Ohio State gear off that kid. Don't do that to him.
Oh, it's too late. His first birthday, it wasn't even me. The wife, you know what I'm saying? The wife ain't even an Ohio State fan, but you know, she married me, so she embraced. She said his first, she was like, what are we going to do for his first birthday? What's going to be the theme? I was like, I don't know. He's one. Who cares? Like, get him a cake. Let's throw a big party, get him a cake, have the family in town. I ain't worried about the theme. She's like, okay, cool. We'll do Ohio State. I was like, see, that's why I married you. I didn't want to say that because then everybody else, I've gotten the feedback, bro. How you going to force it on him? I'm like, he was born into it the same way I was. It is what it is.
First of all, I tell people when they ask me if I'm a force, be like, kiss my ass. He's my son. I'll force on him whatever the hell I want to force on him.
I was born into it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Pops was Ohio State fan. I'm Ohio, and then he's named after me and my dad. So, like, he really had no choice, but you know what I'm saying? Like, and then my wife always joke and be like, you know what? One day, probably for like his 5th birthday, we're going to do like a Michigan theme and you're going to have to wear a Michigan shirt and I'm taking hella pictures. She's like, I'm going to catch you in a Michigan shirt. Like, I'm going to do something.
If I ever get a hold of one of those pictures, I swear I'll show up to your funeral, old and gray and on some crutches, and I'm going to pull it out, hands shaking, and lay it on.
She was like, I'm going to catch you in some Michigan gear. Like, she almost bought me the Michigan 12s just because she knows I would wear them because of the shoe, and I really like the shoe, but because it got the M on the tongue, I ain't get them.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, dude, I won't even wear scarlet and gray.
No, she got, so I liked them. And I was like, oh, I knew they was the Michigan colorways, but they had the M on the tongue. And she was like, I almost got them for you just because. Like, she was about to pay $300 because I know you gonna wear them. And I was like, nah.
I tell my wife, take them back. Like Michigan, like that Michigan State, like that green color. I don't have it in my wardrobe. I won't.
Yeah, I don't wear navy. I don't wear I don't wear that god awful blue and yellow. Nope.
Man, not at all. First of all, it's not yellow, it's maize. That's
whatever, even worse.
Just like your red is scarlet.
I don't even eat corn because I can't stand the color yellow. No, I'm just playing.
Nah, you know what? Listen, if you didn't, I believe I won't wear a beret because y'all band looks so stupid. You have the stupidest looking band in college football. That band looks so damn dumb. But the Ohio thing you guys do, the trombone, whatever that guy that comes out that is the dumbest shit in all of college sports.
Ohio State is the greatest non-black band in America, though. The greatest band in America. Anybody non-black in America.
That's a good one. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's some band shit if I ever heard it. I'm gonna let you go. He said Ohio State. He linked up. Ohio State is the greatest non-black. That's funny. That's funny. I can't. Michigan band. It's just our fight. We don't have a decorative band like you guys do with those corny ass outfits and berets on. We just have the greatest fight song in the history with the greatest helmets in the history of helmet sports and the greatest. Damn, we have the greatest stadium. We have the greatest fight song. We have the greatest helmet. God, we got kind of the greatest everything when you really think about it. Has any presidents ever come from your school? We have presidents that have come from our school, NFL owners. Yeah, we
had serial killers.
Yeah, you did.
Jeffrey Dahmer went to Ohio State?
Yeah.
One of them. Jeffrey Dahmer or the other one. The one that they made the movie about. I be forgetting their names. The one with Zac Efron that played
I didn't see it.
Zac Efron played one of them serial killers. He went to Ohio State.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You might want to keep that to yourself. Don't ever tell your son that. Don't do that to him.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell him that. But hey, I appreciate you for having me on.
I love you, man. Stay blessed, man. Hey, thanks for coming on, Mo. We appreciate you guys.
100%.
My man Mo Murphy in the building. VJ's a sports like conduct. Hey, man, that's what I said. 3 hours. I told you I was going hard today. I love it, man. See, we had in the comment section here. My man Rashad Mitchell, great show, VJ. Keep up the good work. It is great to see you again. My man Rashad Mitchell has his own show. You guys check him out over too, man. Rashad Mitchell, Google him. He has a radio show, I believe, over on Periscope. His is pretty dope over there. And there's also another radio station that he's on. Great show today, man. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. VJ's a Sports Like Conduct. As always, I'm your host, VJ Vernon Husky, the Big Vanilla, Funny, the Big Vanilla, Sports Guru, the Vanilla Shat, the Creamy Kobe Blue Out Barkley, Mr. VA's Top Talker, Mr. Never Shut Up, the Big Vanilla Color Cards. I know all the nicknames, man. I want to thank former All-Pro Miami Dolphin Richmond Webb for joining us today in the Vanilla Sports Batcave, and also my man Mo Murphy on Up in Flames, a.k.a. my man Mo Cheese in the building also, too, for joining in today, guys. Great show, great topics. More coming tomorrow. I told you guys I am back. I've made a contract on myself. I would do better and more committed to getting back on air every day like I used to. If it ain't but for an hour, it won't be anything less than an hour to get back on and talk some sports with you guys, man, here on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, iHeartRadio, and Spreaker.com. Great shows coming up. Great games coming up tonight. I know the NBA is loaded. Some lines really fast here to go over towards the end of the show. To end the show, I'll say NBA, everything is going on 4 o'clock right now. So 2 games have already started. You got Milwaukee and Philadelphia. That's an even game right there. Over on this 232. Also to start right now, the Bulls are at the Wizards. Wizards are underdog plus. You got the Wizards that are +4 home. Detroit and Brooklyn. Brooklyn at the Pistons. My Pistons, which I'm about to start watching now. Pistons at the Nets. That's a 13.5 spread for Brooklyn. And then LA is at Dallas. That's a -12 for LA. I do know that LeBron and AD doubtful. I don't think LeBron probably goes tonight. That's an over/under 219.5. I would probably take Dallas with the under 12. The Lakers will fight probably and fight hard in that game. I just don't think they have enough Lucas on a roll right now. I'm going to take Detroit to cover that 13.5. And then Utah, the Clippers at the +1. Give me Utah on the road tonight. I think that's the second game in the doubleheader, so I'll definitely check those out. Over in the NHL right now that we have, all games started at 4 p.m., so we're a little behind on all of those. But yeah, Toronto at Boston, over/under 6.5. Carolina and Tampa Bay, over/under at 6. Montreal and Florida, over/under 6.5. My Rangers, they'll beat Pittsburgh tonight. Those are 2 teams fighting high in the Eastern Conference playoffs in the NHL. I believe 89 and 91 points between those 2 teams. 5.5. I'll take New York Rangers straight up in that game right there. Islanders at the Columbus Blue Jackets at the over/under 6. Ottawa and Nashville, over/under at 6. I'll take the under on that. Philadelphia and Minnesota, 2. Philadelphia is horrible right there. They can't play defense. I like the over at 6.5. A lot of goals have been scored. Colorado and Calgary, give me the over 6 on that. And Dallas and Anaheim, Ducks. I'll probably check into that game too. Give me the over 5.5 on that also too. Husky bets, guys. Don't forget where our bets are better than your bets. If you're a man or woman that loses the bets, always remember to bet it back. Y'all see it right there. Husky bets, Vesson Sports, VJ Vernon Husky. God bless. Appreciate you guys, man. I see y'all next time. 100. Oh, also remember, if you can't be good, at least be good at it. Or slap this shit. No, I'm joking. No more Oscar jokes. It's over. Even though Chris Rock's ticket sales is torn with Kevin Hart later this year. After getting slapped, I can't wait. And then when they come to LA, I gotta go. I can't see it on TV. I gotta go. I gotta hear the response and all that later. Everybody's gonna eat this up. If Will thought that his family had to face clowns now and had to face people and all the joking around now, nah, bro. It's about to get worse. If you thought it was bad before, it's about to get worse, man. I'll holler at y'all. Peace.